everybody. Just making sure that we're live. Let me pull up the comment section. Hold on. Vinny is on his way. Sorry guys, I'm messing with this right now. Comments. Let's see. Oh, hey guys, Gabe, I see you're here. You guys, a whole Radiohead stream in the house as soon as Vinny gets over here. I'll be him in the meantime. Ask me anything. You'll be back in exactly 7 minutes. Okay, clock's ticking, Jonathan. What's up, Nick? These Vinny's glasses. I'm surprised he wears these. Okay, these are obviously they're fake. But the babies get them or they end up on the floor. I mean, look at them. He still wears them anyway. BC, you love Radiohead? Oh, well then you're in luck. It's going to be a very nice day for you. Let me get Vinny and let him know that I have started the live. Hey Dorian, Sayla, tell Dorian I need his computer. Tell him to bring it to the studio. All right. Let's see. What's up, BC? What's up, Geo? Geo, little tiny circle after your name. This is our super healthy, as far as we know, drink that we're not advertising, so I won't say what it is. Message me if you privately want to know. Anyway, yeah, we've got a great lineup. I'm assuming since Gabe is our DJ today. Gabe, what time do you have till? Like, what time do you have a certain time that you need to be off at? Nick, you thought who was blind as a bat? Hi, just open it up and get me all signed in, please. I need to get to the comment section. Just turn your computer on and I'll take it from there. Sit down. So the good people can see you. Yeah, you. Your dad's not here yet.
You live right now?
I am. Here's Dorian getting his computer. You guys, you know what I did? I locked out Vinny's computer. He's told me a million times not to multitask, and guess what I did? How's multitasking? Lock that sucker out. What's happening?
I believe it just died.
Okay, well there's a cord. There's something in there, but I don't think there's a cord. That's a start.
Cord?
A base is in there, but I don't think there's a cord in there. Oh, the base is here.
Isn't there a cord around there?
Yeah, we can check if we can use this one. But I like to leave this computer plugged in if we can. Here we go.
I guess we had a stream or something?
Yeah, we're about to start. So your dad is here.
You know someone's having a conniption fit about my roll today?
What?
Someone was having a conniption fit about my roll today.
I bet they were. he's got his own Discord and he sets up rules. I don't know if you guys remember me telling you, but you can't say thank you, apparently.
Yes.
No English thank yous in there, or you get blocked.
Yep.
Strange.
The people like it. That guy got pounced on.
What's
hard.
up, Clarissa? No, we are reacting to a bunch of Radiohead really soon. If you guys have any questions, we can just do an Ask Me Anything till Vinny gets here. Gabe, are you still there? Let me know what the latest is that you have till, like, if you have a certain time that you have to get off at. In the meantime, yep, I'm here. Okay, Gabe, do you have a certain time you have to stop at, or are we good? Or I know we're starting a little bit later here, so I want to make sure that we have whatever we need. Like, if you have to be off at a certain time, then I want to make sure that we, like, situate ourselves properly so we can give still really good reviews for each song. So, no, Vin got a haircut and it looks so good, and he did a fade where usually apparently he does like the Emperor or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, Nick, it's complicated. It's a complicated situation. We brought it to the Apple Store. We have an issue for sure.
Is there any progress being made on that, or are we still at standstill?
Oh, good, Gabe. You don't have a stopping point. That's good. That's good to know. Then we can just sit in and sit tight and just enjoy all these songs without a time. As soon as Vinny gets up in here. Oh, the volume is low. Hold on. Let me see if I can adjust that. I may know how. Here's the volume. Is this better? How's that? Did that change anything, BC? Or are you just trolling and I'm listening because I'm at the controls? Maybe Vin usually ignores that when you say that. I don't know. Oh no, that's true, Gabe. It could be a troll stream. We could hate every single song. Can you go, there we go.
He's there.
Yep.
See ya.
Thank you. See you later. Wait, babe, should I use his computer instead of mine to put the stream on?
Nope. Because that computer's chippy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I did what we need. Yep. There you go. And
Is he here?
Gabe?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there.
Gabe in the house. All right, guys. You guys will have to do with little old me.
Yeah. Babe, I had a... Oh, there it is.
Mic is low. Mic is low.
I thought I adjusted it. Well, I adjusted it on that thing over there. Where I usually see you go. But
Yeah, that's a pretty...
I'm not sure if I...
That's up there.
I did just adjust it. Okay, when he said that the volume was low, I adjusted it. So you have to wait for an update. Updated information. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right. So glad we could make this work.
What happened? You have technical difficulties?
No, I still haven't mastered the two businesses. So I check one and I'm all up to one and I feel so good about it. And then I realized that I didn't check the second Arvin and Sori one. And then I realized Gabe had sent me a message and he was like, yes, let's do it. It was just, but it all worked out.
Everybody's saying it's quiet.
Should we just turn this up?
Go, yeah. Is there a volume switch on there?
Yeah, I think it kind of fell off. It looked like.
Fell off?
Why? That's my assumption because I don't think the button looked like that. Oh no, that's not that.
Oh, that's where it goes to cardioid
This
or whatever.
right here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know who must have gotten that.
Yeah. Go on YouTube.
Yep. Check
and
it
then
out.
see if it works.
You know, when I use other people's computers, my OCD kicks in and I feel like they're unsanitary.
Okay. Is the volume adjusted, guys? Do we sound louder?
Here, let me plug
Mr.
that
Greer? Okay, good.
Hold on.
Much better.
Everybody's saying much better? So,
we're in
so
good
don't
shape.
check it?
Yeah, you don't need to check it. We're in good shape now. Okay, good. All right, so we've got... It is Radiohead night tonight. Is that right?
Yeah, it's all a whole night of Radiohead.
That is really good news. I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, wait. He's already logged in as us. That's weird.
Who?
It worked out.
Okay, guys, here we go. Song numero uno. Do we have a little introduction thingamajiggy?
Yes, we do.
La ilaha illallah.
What's happening?
You had the last three is...
Honey, I had somebody else do it so I could get supper in the oven, so...
All right.
If there's an issue, I apologize. We tried.
All right.
Okay.
Let's introduce song numero uno.
Yeah, I gotta open up my Trello.
Did he at least download them from the...
She said that she did. Check your... in here.
Is it in an email?
Yeah, it's in an email.
Okay, is that where she got it from?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, I gotta I gotta read the intro. Sorry. It's a little slower because I'm...
It's the top one.
Oh, good, it is in here. Apologies. Here we go. All right, DJ Gabe is up tonight. He says, I noticed that in all of this time doing reactions, you've only been able to react to 2 Radiohead songs, Paranoid Android and Karma Police. The version of Paranoid Android that you were sent to react to was also some sort of warped, terrible version of the song, which left both of you unable to rate it at the end. Oh no, that's a disaster. Okay. Given Radiohead is one of the most influential bands ever, I thought we would do a full stream of Radiohead to sort of catch you up a bit. This was agonizing to figure out which songs to select given their vast catalog and the number of songs I love. I don't know if you can hear that playing. Can you hear that playing?
What playing?
Something's exclusively in theaters, rated R. Can you hear that now?
Yeah, it's a commercial for the YouTube.
Can they hear?
For the song I'm downloading because...
Are they able to hear that, or can I keep reading the intro?
Well, I don't hear anything right now.
Right, this is supposed to be plugged in here. And where's your headphone cord?
We don't even have the first song down.
You're plugged in. You're not hearing anything?
Yeah, I hear some. Okay.
Okay.
I gotta download this thing because it hasn't been downloaded.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't have time to check up on it. Can you just flick that?
Flick what? The light?
Yeah. Welcome. All right. Okay, I'll start back over. A message from DJ Gabe. I noticed that in all this time doing reactions, you've only been able to react to 2 Radiohead songs, Paranoid Android and Karma Police. The version of Paranoid Android that you were sent to react to was also some sort of warped and terrible version of the song, which left you both unable to rate it at the end. Given Radiohead is one of the most influential bands ever, I thought I would do a full stream of Radiohead to sort of catch you up a bit. This was agonizing to figure out which songs to select, given their vast catalog and the number of songs I love. I'm sure it will leave some people disappointed I didn't request while requesting others. The last stream I requested, Tenacious D, City Hall, and tried to make it a light evening. This time we're going to be doing depressing music the way only the Brits know how. I also threw that in there so Vin remembers me from what I requested last. It's been 7 months. I also mostly requested up-tempo songs so as not to bore you, Sori. Request listed below. Okay, you guys, we've got Gabe. There's a bunch of different options of how people get song reactions. One of them is that you jump on Patreon, and you stay on the tier that gets you one song review, and you let it kind of accrue until you get a stream. Usually people wait till they get 4 songs and they do it, but Gabe decided to go big or go home and go till 7. So for 7 months, Gabe has been active on our Patreon, and he is now here with a stream for you and for us.
I'm always fascinated with the way people figure out how to do stuff.
Yeah, yep. It's like layaway.
It's really slick. It's smart.
Yeah, yep.
It really is.
I feel like I wouldn't have the patience to wait the 7 months. I feel like I'd be like, the month's up. Let me just throw one out there. But
I agree.
I definitely think that this is a cool way to do it. So then we're going to go back to back on Radiohead, and we'll see what we think about it.
It's all Radiohead.
I wonder if the Radiohead song that we listened to before that was like all a warped, crappy version, I wonder if that was back when like people weren't sending us the links. Remember they'd tell us the name of the song and we'd be like,
yeah.
Hopefully this is a good version.
Yeah, now people send the links, we know.
Yeah, now we don't even react to a song till someone sends us the link. Send me the links. We don't.
Yeah, that way you don't get a trash version of the song that you wanted.
Yeah, yep. Okay, so song number 1. Radiohead, Hail to the Thief from 2013. That's the album. The name of the song is There There.
Yeah.
You have that one? Okay.
I do.
This is the notes. Lead singer Thorm York, has stated, just because you feel it doesn't mean it's there. It's meant to be comforting. They're there, as in your anxieties, depression, etc., are all in your head.
All right, here we go, guys.
Interesting.
They're there. Radiohead. It's a Radiohead night. Sit tight. All right, here we go. Song number 1. They're there. This is a live video. I guess this is Radiohead in Glastonbury. So let's check it out.
His name is Tom York. Apologies.
voice, that guy.
I really like his voice.
Yeah, it's not like a conventional sort of like, oh my god, this guy's hitting this kind of note, but he. Mm-hmm. The other thing is his voice sounds perfect for the band that he's in too.
I agree. It to me it kind of sounds like, and I don't know if it was because of live recording, so it's a little bit harder to hear it, but it seems like, you know how there's like when you're trying to hit a note, there's like direct down the middle, and then there's sharp and there's flat. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like he keeps it a little on the sharp side, but still stays within the note.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
It's just a little bit like kind of like a little offy sound, but like a perfect sound. I liked it. I very much enjoyed it. A therapeutic sound to it. Maybe it has to do with the topic of the song. Too.
Yeah, you know, that was interesting. So I think it was Nick. Nick mentioned Muse.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo, this sounds like Muse." Like if I didn't know, the timeline, I would think it was Muse. And look, Black Queen is saying, Muse took a lot of influence from Radiohead. Yeah. I mean, Radiohead had an album come out around the 99-2000 period, and I guess it was a pretty big album, but you know me, it was 99 or 2, I'm pretty sure it was 99-2000, around there. And you know me, I was like, I had just discovered Korn, and so Radiohead was not like, yo, we're gonna destroy the world. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. They were on the calmer side of the register. Yeah. So I was like, man, those guys are trash. Those guys are whack. Oh yeah, Kid A. There it is, Kid A. I'm pretty sure it was Kid A. So I was like, oh man, those guys are weak. I couldn't listen to 30 seconds. I was an idiot. Well, I mean, I guess at the time I needed more aggressive music or whatever, but during the channel now, it's like, it's fascinating. Like, there are a lot of these bands that people love that have these classic great songs, but I didn't get to enjoy any of them at the time when they came out because I was obsessed with Korn. But now we're hearing all the songs fresh, so you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing.
Well, it worked out good for the channel because we can do authentic reactions.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much we didn't know besides Korn. I didn't even know Korn, really. Like, you introduced me to all the stuff, so it was all new to me.
So
I remember everybody walking around saying life is peachy for a smidge of time.
Well, Korn didn't invent that phrase. That was just a phrase.
I think it was at the same time that album came out. Wasn't that an album?
Yeah, but life is peachy is that's a phrase from long ago.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, all of a sudden, randomly, everybody started saying it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they had their second record was "Life Is Peachy."
Right, and I think that they were also walking around saying "Children of the Corn." I remember people talking about that too.
Yeah.
So I assume it had to, but I don't know. Anyway, this is not a Korn reaction. This is Radiohead.
I just remember the DJs, because there was a station K-Rock, and I don't know if it's still around. But I remember the DJs were like ranting and raving about this.
Radiohead.
This Kid A. They had a record called Kid A, and all the radio DJs were like going crazy over it, and I'm like, man, these guys are soft, blah blah blah. But you know what? If I'd have given Radiohead a chance, I would have probably really loved that band, because I had those times of like raw,
but it's not all like that. That's
I'm aggressive,
yeah.
And then there are other times when I was like really introspective and things like that, and I'd get quiet, and journal,
it would work for that.
Write poetry or whatever. I wish I had a guitar at the time. I'd have been playing some guitar, but yeah, dude, this guy's voice is like mega hypnotic for some reason. It's like really, he what's the guy's name? Tom. Yeah, his voice is. It's just, somebody said it was ironic. I like that. I like that definition of it. It's just like really like almost ethereal, kind of almost like another instrument type of thing. Like it's very interesting to me. There's Billy Corgan, the Smashing Pumpkins dude, who has really a bad voice, but tonight, you know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, it's so odd.
I didn't realize that Billy Corgan had a bad voice until I saw a girl cover Tonight.
Oh. Then you're like, oh.
We were she was doing it like 10 feet away from me.
Oh, and really?
I was like, wow. It's like, dude, really? But it goes so good. this dude can sing, but I'm very fascinated with people and their vocal styles now because I play guitar, and then I'm like, we're stuck on this part in the song, and I'm like, I don't really like this vocals, although we're getting closer based on the last thing that you showed me. But like, I'm very interested in like, now, because I'm not a guitarist, you know, how do you do these different vocal styles? Because, you know, in a given song, there's about, I don't know, 4 or 5 techniques that you use, you know, palm muting, tremolo, whatever. And then you kind of arrange them. And, you know, some songs I'm like, okay, I'm not going to, you know, you challenge yourself and go, okay, I'm not going to do any palm muting here at all. I'm going to find a way to make this heavy without palm muting. You can increase the tempo, you can decrease. There's a lot of things that you can do on guitar. So, like, once you go down that rabbit hole, you create all these different variations, and that becomes your style. I've never been a singer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, how does a singer figure out what his or her voice is? That to me is like the next sort of hill to climb.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking, I think it's the same thing with like YouTube channels. Like, you know how sometimes you see a YouTube channel and you're like, wow, they're really popular. And then, like, I used to think that it had to do with that the person figured out the right type of personality to put forward. And I think that there are channels where that is true.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's a lot of channels that just take off just based off the person's natural personality, like who they're just putting out what's natural. Like for us, we don't come on here and act. The only thing I would say would be, like, sometimes if I'm having a really bad day, I'm not going to come in and just be depressing like the entire stream. Like, nobody wants that. Like, you've got to pick it up.
Right.
But at the same time, like, it's just, this is who we are. You know what I mean? Like, if you hang out with us for a couple of days, like, this is who we are regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's the same thing with music. Like, I used to think that people put out a certain type of voice, and when I was like a teenager and I started, you know, when I got in my car and I would like drive and just music for hours, I would listen to different types of music and I would change my voice to sound like whoever I was singing with. And now I'm at this place where I'm like, wait, maybe you got to just figure out like, yeah, you can try to do different styles, but like, what is my natural style? I have no idea, and I don't even know how to figure that out. But it seems like whatever your natural is, it would just kind of work with you.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like that,
you just, I mean, I think it probably just comes from hundreds and hundreds of hours of doing it over and over again. Because I mean, if you
I disagree. I feel like that those girls that you went to school with, they didn't have hundreds and hundreds of hours. They just did it. It was there.
Yeah, but they could sing. But I wouldn't say that they had like a unique vocal style. Like if I look at Maynard, he's got a unique one. The dude from Pumpkins, Floor, this guy, definitely this guy. I would probably say Korn, although I don't really, you know, I mean, I grew up on Korn, so I you know, but that's what I mean. Like, there's that, and then like Chino from Deftones also has a very interesting vocal style too. So that's what I mean. It's like it's not just the ability to sing, because yeah, you're right. The girls are just naturally gifted as singers, but it's also like, I know when this person is on. I know when this person's vocal style or whatever. This guy's got one of those styles.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. In pitch dark, I go walking in your landscape. Broken branches trip me as I speak. It's a good line.
What did you get from that?
Just because you feel it doesn't mean it's there. So they're having a conversation, and I think the landscape he's talking about is the landscape of this person's mind.
It's interesting. I thought it was his own mind, and I thought he was having a conversation with himself.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking to somebody. He could be, you know, going back and forth with himself, or he could be talking to like one of his friends or whatnot.
Yeah.
But the landscape, I'm assuming, is a landscape in this person's mind.
100%.
And then he says, broken branches trip me as I speak. So that's another one of those things where it's like, if you're dealing with somebody with problems or whatnot, or they're going through something or whatnot, it's very easy to get tripped up in conversations with them, because they're already on edge. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
if somebody is in the middle of, I mean, I'm definitely this way. Like, if I'm in a bad mood, like a line or a sentence could shut down the whole day, depending on like where my head's at. So right there, there's a little bit of frustration, I think, but because Radiohead is not like a rah-rah band, you know, he's not going to express it that way, but just because you feel it.
He's saying that the person has broken branches that trip him as he speaks.
Right. So he's like trying to work with this person's mind, right? I'm going walking in your landscape in pitch dark, which means I think he's saying, I don't know how to help you. Like, here's your mind, you know, it's this landscape, but it's dark. So obviously if it's dark and you're walking through something, you're going to trip. So it's like, I don't know how to help you. And then the more I talk, the more you know, jump on something. And now we got this big problem. And then he goes, just because you feel it doesn't mean it's there. Like, I didn't mean to do anything to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
100%.
And that's you know, it's a very, very tough balance dealing with that for people on the outside of that, because it's like, yo, I want to help you, but then at the same time, it's like, yeah, I say this, it's the wrong thing, and now you're upset at me. Yeah,
because then you think to yourself, it would have been better for the person had I not said anything to them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't seem happy before I said something, but once I said something, they looked decidedly worse. So then it becomes a sort of game where you're like, should I say this? Should I not say this? Should I, you know, because obviously if you see someone in trouble, you want to help them. But it's definitely challenging. But I think I do like if this is two people talking to each other, again, I thought it was a person having a conversation with themselves, which either way it works. When he says, because you feel it doesn't mean it's there. And then he goes on to say, there's always a siren singing you to shipwreck. Don't reach out. Don't reach out. Steer away from these rocks. We'd be a walking disaster. Don't reach out. Don't reach out.
What'd you take from that?
Well, I always love the analogies of the siren and the shipwreck, and like the beauty and the lore of that voice, while simultaneously knowing that it's to your demise and your destruction. And I think that some aspects of mental illness and struggle can be that way. Like there's this sort of like, for instance, you'll hear people talk about like that when they get in certain types of mood, they like to think about what if they kill themselves this way, or what if they, and it doesn't necessarily have to be suicidal thoughts. It can just be like, oh, well, what if I get in the car today and I do get killed? You know, what if this? And, you know, like, it's these thoughts of death or destruction of your own self, but it comes in this sort of way that's like soothing, and it has like that alluring of like this beautiful siren singing this sound that you could, knowing that you were coming toward where that is, like knowing that you were coming toward a bad spot, like there are stories where people would put, you know, wax in their ears so then they wouldn't hear the song of the siren. But like, rather than doing that preventative stuff, because I think that, I'm not sure, this is a theory that I have that I'm still kind of working through, but I think that there probably are comorbidities or signs that come with, like, each person is patterned differently. So maybe, like for instance, for me, there are certain things that I realize that when I'm really not doing good, I get irrational on certain things, and they become like a big deal to me, even though they're not a big deal, and that if I'm feeling well, like I don't really even notice them or whatever. But when I'm not doing well, they become such a big deal, like so big that like I could do something irrational to try to remove them from my life, or, you know, these issues that I see or whatever. But I think that, so anyway, so what I'm saying is, like, if you knew that the sirens were at a certain spot, that on your journey there the sirens were going to be, then you could put the wax before you get there. And so I think that there are comorbidities that come with our mental illnesses and our different issues that we all have, that if we learn the patterns of ourselves, we can say, oh, I see that. That means I'm not doing well. I got to take a little extra care, whatever. And the Bible kind of talks about that. It kind of talks about that there are going to be like kind of like darker times, that it tells you, like, what's that verse? It basically, you should like pray up for the seasons that are, what is that verse?
For the evil day?
Yeah, the evil day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So.
Yeah, there's always a siren singing you to shipwreck. Again, I think is more subtle frustration with this person. Because anytime you're in a relationship and the term always and never comes up, there's usually some resentment underneath that. So it's like, there's always a siren singing the ship. Like, you always have a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a friend. So, because he says we'd be a walking disaster. Steer away from these rocks. We'd be a walking disaster. A walking disaster. So
it could be a relationship. It could also be them talking to themselves.
Yeah,
We'd
but like,
be a walking disaster.
If he's got a friend, especially a friend in the band.
Yeah.
And when you're in a big band, you have access to a lot of women, and that can make your life very complicated. So there's always a siren singing you to shipwreck.
Oh.
Like you're always in some new situation. You're always in some drama. And yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. Like, I think if you're the person with the problems or going through the thing, you just have to understand that, you know, people get exhausted from shit sometimes. You just have to understand that. You know what I'm saying? So I think what you were describing is the destruction or death drive. I get that sometimes. Just, hey, we should drive off the bridge. I don't know why that thought crosses my mind, but it does. And I know it's 100% irrationality. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes it's like a random thought like, hey, we should... But then I think that there's also times where it's like, well, I'm going to go out driving and I hope that I don't return. That sort of thing. Like, and then the thinking about it, well, what if I drove over here, and what if somebody was in this situation, they crossed a line? You know what I mean? Like this sort of overly thinking of the details of something. Why? What good does that bring to mankind? And I think that might be the question. I'm not sure. I don't really... Again, this is something that I'm just like exploring, where I'm like, is this
right?
Is this something here? Like, is this... And again, like sometimes just because... Like, we're in a particular crew of people on this channel. I don't know if everybody experiences that, or if it's just something that, you know, where we're all at, that's something that we understand. But it's certainly not healthy, and it's certainly something that we need to be able to be like, okay, when I start thinking like that, is there any other negative effects that it has on me that I can see as signs that, okay, I'm not doing well?
Sometimes you get desensitized to the siren and you just go there because fuck it, I don't care about the consequences. Yeah, I mean, especially when someone's going, you know, in a bad situation, like mentally, that's one of the first thing that goes is like you just stop caring about the consequences about shit.
Right.
So.
Yep.
But then there's this period where it's like and he doesn't want to be in that situation anymore. So then they change. And, you know, that's where it's a tough balance, man. It's just a very, very tough balance. But the line, like, just because you feel it doesn't mean it's there, is a good line. That's a really good line because... Yeah. But it's... You know, it takes a certain kind of maturity to understand what they're saying. Because if you're in the middle of that shit... a lot of times people take that as, oh, you're trivializing the situation, you're trivializing my experience, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, no, I'm not trivializing it, but at the same time, it's like, the situation you're in is like a 4, and your reaction's like a 14. And again, that's very hard to quantify because those are kind of subjective things. But
they're
I do
absolutely
think,
subjective.
And the other thing is like, this is where I think, you know, some psychiatry and psychology is actually a good thing, in the sense of, you know, your psychologist or a third party can tell you, like, no, this is more due to your chemical imbalance than your actual life circumstance. Like, the situation really isn't that deep. And you have people, but they're kind of like in the professional class who can tell you that, where you can kind of like go with them. But the people in your personal life, it gets very hard to cut that straight.
And I think it's also difficult if you don't have training, because it's like, you know, what do for instance, like me, what do I know? What do I know about somebody's mental illness? And obviously, I'm not trying to say anything to anybody to throw them off the edge or to push them off the edge, because sometimes all it takes is, like, somebody's just looking for that, not that you're responsible, but sometimes I think somebody's looking for that one word so they can go off the handle, or they can go do something crazy. Like, they're just looking for that one thing. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that one thing. But at the same time, like, you know, you want to, I know in the past when I saw people in bad shape, like it was always very like rah rah from me, like pick yourself up, you know, like open the shades and you know, like get outside and and I'm not necessarily saying it, but actually what I was doing was I was telling them what I think I would need if I was in that situation, and that people are not the same. Like you and I are not the same in sometimes I think that you would benefit from doing the things that I think are important, and you probably feel that I would benefit from doing the things you think are important, but we're both two different people. Like for me, I think if you're feeling bad, you should absolutely get outside. You should be in the sun, you should be underneath the elements, like get outside, get toward nature. But there are some people that friggin' hate the woods, they hate the nature. Like maybe that wouldn't be good for them. Like I firmly believe it would be good for them. Go to the beach, go to the ocean, go get your feet in the dirt, like do something natural. But that's me. That's how I'm going to feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just a really good song, man. It's a really good I'm very, very excited. And
look at the bridge.
I just want to pause for a second on what I'm about to say. It doesn't mean that I want you to do that if you're a DJ. Every DJ is unique. And honestly, every DJ stream is unique and I love it. But you know, like legendary bands like the Beatles, where we got to listen to like 8 songs in a row.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or a band like this. This is another like very legendary, influential band.
Right. So
to be able to do a stream where you have 6, 7, 8, 9 of the same band and they're different records, and you really get a feel of, okay, this is a style, this is what they're about. Like I got a real understanding of the Beatles, although I didn't come off saying, oh, this is a Beatles style, because all the songs are so different. So that to me is like, that's one level of genius, but I'm really excited to be able to listen to all these songs consecutively with the same band,
for sure, because
it's a legendary band. Like a lot of the songs that we do are songs that you're not going to hear on regular streams, because
exactly,
you know, they're trying to work the algorithm and they're trying to get subscribers and things like that. Not to say that we don't want subscribers. Shout out to all our subscribers. Hey, like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. But I like the crew that we have, because you get all these different, we get songs from all over the world. You get songs from bands that, you know, like the Proto Men. I would have never found the Proto Men if it wasn't for Riv. And we ran that song for an entire year in the car. Like
we did.
That song, like,
we did.
So now it's like, boom, we're getting 6, 7, you know, Radiohead songs. It's gonna be badass.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Okay, what about the bridge? Why so greedy? It says here greedy. Someone in the comment section said they thought they used to think it said pretty. I thought maybe it was supposed to say why so needy and lonely and lonely and lonely. Then he says heaven sent you to me to me. That bridge to me is, what do you think he's trying to communicate? Because there's like a couple things. One is, does it kind of flip? Like is he saying, look, you're supposed to be here for me, but you're too busy.
This line says, why so green? So you got greedy, green. Green makes a little bit more sense to me, because green is the color of envy.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a jealous person. Maybe on top of all the other guys' pathology, he's got major jealousy issues.
Yeah, but if he had jealousy issues, then why would the person have to say, heaven sent you to me to me? That person sounds greedy. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. But to me, like, that still works, because it's like, hey, we're supposed to be friends. Like, you're a gift to me, but now you're this jealous person. Like, you're jealous of me, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
we're supposed to have this relationship where we can help each other, but it's all about you.
Yeah, you're jealous, you know. And you know, I think we've all had friends that, or maybe not, like, are not doing as well as we are. And so there's the jealousy, there's the resentment. Like, even though they're your friend and they love you, they do love you, but there's some jealousy and resentment there, because you're at a different place in life than them.
Envy.
And I could definitely see how that would happen if you're a big rock star with a big fancy band.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, this song's a 9.8 for me. I really liked it.
9.8. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, I really liked it.
This song definitely made me see why Radiohead has so many fans. And they did very well live as well. They're really good showmen. They're kind of weird. Like, their movements are kind of like erratic.
Yeah. Weird is my thing.
Yeah, and the other thing is like, they're not like a heavy band, kind of like jumping around doing weird shit. I was like, okay, that's their vibe. Like they got they got a whole vibe, and their audience understands their vibe. So yeah, I'm feeling it. 9.4 for me.
9.8.
9.4 for me. We have
More
just
to
started.
come.
Shout out to Amy Lee in the house.
What's up?
Amy Lee in the house. Shout out to DJ Gabe. We shall be right back there. Listener, Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. I'm Ben.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village. Facebook.com/Ben and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes,
All
dear
right,
listener,
you guys.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
DJ Gabe in the house.
DJ Gabe in the house.
Radiohead all night long.
No, Dudley, the show has just begun, my brother.
Yes.
We do commercial breaks between songs for our own editing purposes on this side here. But no, we are here forever. Keep going.
Okay, so the next song on our list from DJ Gabe is a Radiohead song, of course. And the song is Where I End and You Begin, The Sky is Falling In. This song was subtitled The Sky is Falling In, referencing Chicken Licken, the children's nursery story in which a flock of...
deluded
What?
poultry are lured into a fox's den. It was a favorite of York when he was a boy.
Note from Gabe. This song can be interpreted in many ways, I think. Very easy to see climate change being a theme in the song. But one of the more interesting interpretations, in my opinion, is reading the lyrics from the point of view of God. All right. Let's check it out.
Ben, we got I think we got a block, but we did not get a copyright strike, so we escaped with our lives. Don't worry, Ben. You're all good.
Benji, how are you?
It's Ben Bear, not Ben Webb.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see Ben Webb.
That's Ben Bear on the screen because he.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying hi to Ben Webb now.
Oh, I was reading what Ben was saying, so I thought you were saying Benji.
Oh no! I've been seeing.
This affectionate with Ben Bear. What is this new budding relationship? What are y'all talking about in Patreon? What's happening? No, you were talking to Ben Webb.
I was,
oh, okay.
of course,
a fan favorite.
Yes.
I still feel guilty about beating the hell out of that koala.
I knew it. I knew you
Felt
did.
so bad.
I knew you
so
did.
Bad. But it was for a good cause. For a good cause.
Yes, well, he's still stuffed in a bag
He
somewhere.
hurt the girls. He said something means the girls. I forgot what it was.
It was about
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, typical Ben Webb shit. Everybody was all
Ben
mad.
doing his shit.
we made quite a few dollars.
We did. We
We're
did.
sending like $20 super chats to beat up Ben.
That's so bad. Oh
All
my
right.
gosh. All right, you guys, let's check this out.
Song numero dos.
Where I end and you begin.
It's a lyric video, dear listener. Let's do this shit.
There's a gap in between. There's a gap where we meet. Where I am and you begin. I'm sorry for the dinosaurs on the earth. The sky turns green. Where I am and you
I definitely see how that could be talking about God.
Okay.
I also definitely see how it could be about
Relationship.
climate change.
Oh.
And
yeah.
I also see how you could think it's about a relationship.
Yep.
So, what do you got?
Wow.
So you think it's about a relationship? Is what it looked like to me?
Yeah. I would have gone with the relationship and angle, but that's how I always do it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm like, gee whiz, let me hear a song about climate change. Really, honestly, climate change is important to me, but like music to me, I always want it to be relationship. So I'm always steering that direction.
Is climate change important to you?
No,
Like,
well,
no.
no. Climate change, because I've heard so much stuff on it, I'm like, nah. I do think that what we do with the planet is important. As a matter of fact, I couldn't sleep. One of the reasons why I was awake and couldn't fall back asleep was because I'm very troubled by the fact that whenever I buy I can't figure out why this keeps happening. And like, I don't know what to do because it very much troubles me. So if you buy a package of chicken, it's in one condition. If you buy the bag, which is great for like big families, there's always broken legs in it. Every bag. And it bothers me because I'm like, what the fuck are they doing at this chicken factory? Like, if it's once in a while, but every bag you have broken legs, what are you doing to these chickens? So stuff like that really disturbs me. And then it bothers me because it's like, I'm still buying that chicken, but it's like, well, we don't make enough money to justify buying the, you know how small the packages are of the the chicken that they've treated the animals right.
Grass-fed and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to do that. I prefer that. We just don't make enough money to do that. We have way too many kids. So that really troubles me that keeps happening. So stuff like that bothers me. I don't like us throwing trash in the ocean, like just needless destruction because people are so greedy and consumers. Like, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that we as a family don't recycle. I used to recycle when I had my own home, but now we don't have the recycle doesn't come by. So terrible as it is, it's too much trouble for me to get that all packaged properly and bring it to the plant. I won't do it. When they were coming directly to my house and I could have the bins, fine. So stuff like that bothers me. As far as like climate change, what's really happening, I don't know enough about it to really know if I even believe what the people are saying because you hear so much stuff. And I haven't done enough research. I just know, like, common sense, we shouldn't beat the hell out of animals when we're gonna eat them. We shouldn't throw trash in our oceans. Like, stuff like that. It's like, come on, do we really need to have a conference on that? Don't we just know?
Yeah, climate change is one of those things to me, like, it's in the gun control and immigration category for me. Like, I have an ideal of what I would like to happen to address those issues, but I don't think my ideals are... I don't know how to... I don't know the solution to execute it. Like, for example, gun control. It's like, oh, yeah, guns are the problem, Jenk says. Okay, so let's ban guns. Okay, fine. Then the law-abiding citizen... Like, the argument is really effective to me. Like, the law-abiding citizen is going to not do it, and then the bad guys are going to do it. I mean, coming up in New York City, you know, I didn't know anything about guns or knives and all types of people. You know,
Yeah.
You know, like, I was a clean slate, and then it was like, it got to the point where if you weren't carrying something, it was almost your own fault. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how to solve the gun problem. The immigration problem is like, yo, I'm a Christian, so like, we should just let everybody in. But I also know there's some real difficulties one of which is aiding and abetting human traffickers and fentanyl traffickers, right? So it's I know it's not as simple as, oh, just let everybody in.
I know.
Like, I know what we're doing now is not right, but I don't know. And then climate change is another one. It's like, that's a hell of a gamble. You know, like to say, oh, those scientists are full of shit. They don't know what they're talking about.
I guess.
Like, that's a hell of a gamble to me, man. Like, because I got friends, like, they're hardcore, you know, or whatever. I don't really understand the whole right-left dichotomy relative to climate change. I don't understand why people on the right have a problem with the concept. Like, but they do. Mm-hmm. So that's another one where it's tough for me. It's like, come on, man. We're used to all living a certain way.
Yeah.
Especially as Americans, we're used to a certain kind of lifestyle. So it's like, you know, I don't know how practically we're gonna stop this thing from happening if it's really happening. See what I'm saying? Because we're just so used to a certain kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And even the people that say that they're against, you know, man-made climate, you know, like you got Bernie riding around in a private jet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even for him, it's too hard to, you know what I'm saying? And I believe he's sincere. I believe all these people are sincere, but I also think that the quote hypocrisy that they display indicates just how difficult that solution really is. But
well, I guess if they started with, you know, what do I know? But I guess if they started with the big companies, you know, the ones that when all of us were suffering because we weren't big companies and they were all getting all that money, like start with them and you guys start being eco-friendly. Since you've already been given so much money by us and we all had to suffer. Now it's time for you guys. You guys start making your factories be more eco-friendly and stuff like that. Start there. Start somewhere. But I mean, I agree that we should all be taking part in doing something, but
it's
I mean,
tough.
I think that it's hard when you see like, okay, I understand what's happening at the border. It's really messed up. And the more you dig into the details of it, the more sick it becomes. But like, if we're like, oh, well, we can't let people in because, you know, we're worried about human trafficking. Really? I don't know if they're worried about that with everybody that's getting raped and all that at the border. Maybe they're worried about that. But
Right.
are you really concerned about human beings in that category? I don't know.
Right.
But when I see people dressed in different types of uniforms and such and kicking over water bottles that people that have just gotten to the border could have used, I mean, that to me, that I think you should go to jail for that. You set it up so someone could die. People are making it there with their small children, and now they're the waters that other people set out there, like that level is, you know, let them, if you can't let them in, let them fucking drink the water.
Yeah.
Don't make them trek all the way over there and give them, it's just, I don't know, that is very upsetting to me.
Yeah, that outro, I'll eat you alive, there will be no more lies.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was interpreting that as a planet saying, okay, you guys keep playing around. That's why he made the statement about the dinosaurs.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see that line? Where's that line
It's
about
up
the
at the top. Yeah, right
dinosaurs?
there.
Yeah. I'm sorry for us. The dinosaurs roam the earth. So I don't know if that's one of those things where it's like the reset button got hit, like we completely destroyed everything.
Oh, the sky turns green instead of blue now.
Yeah, like we've polluted everything.
Where
everything
I
is all
end and you
screwed up,
begin.
and it's like where I end. So the I would be humanity, I think, and then the you begin would be the world basically hitting the reset button.
Yep.
So that's why you have dinosaurs roaming the earth, is because everything got reset because we essentially killed ourselves, you know, via all the pollution. Somebody told me one time, they're like, listen, man, the earth is stronger than us. So like we're going to be the first ones to bear the brunt of our bullshit relative to how we're treating the planet. And the planet's still going to be here. It'll cleanse itself of you. I mean, I don't believe this is going to happen, but like that was his mentality. Like the earth is going to cleanse itself.
Yeah, but if you didn't have your theology, would you look at that 100%. And say that's a very real possibility?
100%.
Right, okay.
When you consider pollution and war and all the rest of it. I mean, although if the earth just took Americans out, then there'd be a lot less war. I'm not saying there wouldn't be any war, but there would be a lot less war if the earth just decided to discriminate against North America. Yikes. But like, the line is crazy to me, like, because it's like, usually it's like Mother Earth, what are we doing to the earth?
Yeah.
You know, but this was like a really aggressive, like, yo, I'm going to eat you alive. There'll be no more lies. Like, it's over. You guys are gone and the dinosaurs are roaming the earth and we'll try it again. And like, it's funny because Joe Rogan is like really digging into this idea of previous tech. Like, I was watching them speculate about like they're using anti-gravity to move the stones of the pyramid and all that. And there's a debate about like, yo, are the pyramids too technologically advanced for the time period that we think that they were? Like that's a big question. Like, because these massive megalithic stones that are being used to create the pyramids and all that, and the exact specifications that like to this day we're having a hard time. So now there's like speculation, like, maybe these guys had access to technology that we didn't have because this pyramid is like 5,000 years older than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I heard something about maybe sound made it.
Yeah, so yeah. So I'm like, yo, that would be a crazy thought to think that we had people with crazy technology, I don't know, 2 million years ago, and then for whatever reason, giant cataclysm happened and they were gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a crazy thought to me. Like, I've never had that thought before. Like,
oh, what? Really?
Yeah, that you had people with technology, like aerodynamic technology and all types of shit. Like,
I thought I heard that years ago.
Millions, thousands of years ago. Like, yeah, I've never heard that before. That's crazy.
Well, that's so crazy because I heard a long time ago, it seems, that was like there was a theory about aliens and so my friend Simon from growing up, aliens and the pyramids, like I don't know if you've ever heard any of the connections between that. Yeah. So I didn't take it seriously at the time at all, like I'm not even sure what I think about it right now, but
yeah, see that's the debate where Ben says there's videos of guys using primitive tools to move around gigantic stones. Yeah, but not these stones. We were talking about like 100-ton stones.
Yeah, but then I think to
myself,
myself,
use primitive tools for those.
How big were the men of renown? Like, how big were they? Were they just like 9 feet tall, or were they friggin' like giants?
Yeah.
That it would be like.
But then when you think about the whole UAP phenomena, there is speculation that the UAPs are. And the occupants of the UAPs are us from the future.
I know.
That we figured out time travel.
Yeah.
And so they're coming back here to manipulate whatever. Yeah. And Jacques Vallée's real theory is that these are not extraterrestrial beings like from another planet, but they're interdimensional beings that phase in and out of this dimension because they're trying to steer history in a certain way. And so, like, the example I use all the time is Neil deGrasse Tyson said that the discovery of America was like one of the top 5. Like, he put it up there with the wheel when he was on Joe Rogan's show. Okay. And what's fascinating is we know that he was trying to go to India, and then he veered off course. But when you look at the logs, they saw a UAP in the water. It was in the water.
So freaking creepy, babe.
It rose up to eye level.
I'm honestly getting goosebumps.
And then it shot off. And it just so happened that Columbus ended up in the wrong place, and then there you have it. So Jacques Vallée's idea is that not that these are like interplanetary beings with like millions of years sophisticated technology ahead of us. These are interdimensional beings who are operating from a completely different framework and are just phasing in and out here to influence our decisions and our history. And you can easily reconcile that with a biblical worldview, obviously.
But their goal, does he have a theory as to what their...
He doesn't know what their goal is.
That's uncomfortable.
He doesn't know what their goal is. But yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff in the world, but I definitely could also see the God angle too. He's like, I'm up in the clouds, I won't come down. Like, there's this concept of deism, which is the idea that God did create the world, but he kind of did it as like sort of like a hobby, and then he's off doing other shit. So like, there is a God that created the world, but he's up in the clouds. He's not really going to interfere with the affairs of men.
They basically compare it to like the old-fashioned clocks that you have to wind them up. That God basically did that. He wound up the earth and left it there, and then he just kind of like watches it as it unfolds, but he doesn't take any part in the actual.
Yeah, and to me, I think...
Which I feel like is completely obviously wrong, especially when you consider, if you follow our belief system, that God himself came in the form of a human being. He came to Earth so he could suffer like us, and he could be a high priest for us, a faithful high priest, or somebody that could really care for us and understand us. And he obviously died on the cross and rose again. So because of that stuff, as part of our religion, I would say, no, he didn't just set it and leave it. I mean, he sent his son. In our religion, it says he sent his son down for that. So I don't see I think that sometimes it feels that way.
See, what's interesting is, to me, this song could easily be a play with 3 characters. One is Mother Earth, one is mankind, and then one is sort of this deistic God who is looking down and saying, I'm not gonna take part in it. I'm not, he's got his own rules where he's, hold on, stay up there. Like, he says right there, like, I'm up in the clouds, and I can't come down. I can watch, but not take part. So that line right there, like, I could definitely see God speaking there, and at the end, Mother Earth is speaking to mankind and saying, you're out of here. Like, it's over. So I think all interpretations could work on this one. Is what
You
it
left
looks like
me
to me.
alone.
Where I end and where you start, where you left me alone, Yeah, I think that's, you can easily go with, that's humanity talking to God and Mother Nature, saying that God abandoned us and that Mother Nature's about to abandon us, because it says, where you left me alone, So it's like, God's up there saying, yeah, I'm watching, I can't take part, man, I'm up in the clouds, sorry. And then he's like, okay, well then you're leaving us to our own devices, it's going to lead in destruction. And of course, Mother Earth takes over in the end and says, yeah, I'm going to eat you alive, man. You guys, it's over for you. So what I'm saying is, like, all those interpretations work for me. But the song is spooky as hell, bro.
Yeah, it is.
That's a spooky
Nick,
song, dude.
We don't
Pollinators.
believe that the Book of Enoch is scripture like the rest of the Bible is. Like, there was like a panel of like really ancient guys now that got together to decide like what was going to go into the scriptures, and they had a list of things that each writing had to agree. There had to be a certain amount of copies of it. It had to be written by someone who was in close relation to the actual happenings. Like, there was a big list to make sure that it was, well, the Book of Enoch didn't fit into that list. So it's still looked at is like, well, you have some people that look at it as like a historical document, and then other people that are terrified of it because it didn't enter the closing of the scriptures. So Vinny's read it.
I mean, Enochian literature is quoted verbatim in the book of Jude and 1 Peter. Jesus, you cannot understand with any real depth a lot of the things that Jesus said without having an Enochian understanding of theology. So Enoch is not a canonical book, but it's an extremely important book to understand the history and the mindset of the people of Jesus' time.
I'd like to read that. I've never read it.
Yeah, it's once you read it, you'd be like, oh, that's what they were talking about. That's what they were talking about.
If that's easy, you can just get it. Like, can I just Google Book of Enoch and start reading it right now?
Yeah,
if I wanted
you
to?
could. What do you give the song?
Good to know. 9.
This song's a solid 9.2 for me.
All right,
really,
you
really
guys.
good stuff.
We'll be right back.
We are coming back on the other side of the break. DJ, hold on, we don't have a banner on this. I gotta get a banner up here. DJ, who's
Gabe.
DJ
Gabe.
He's got the peer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Radiohead. Okay, ready? You can start the commercial. Wait, let's F go. Was that like fucking go?
Yeah, but
or was it a typo?
I'll take it out. I'll take it out since you want to squash people's dreams.
Oh boy, all right. We'll be right back at the end of this commercial.
Yeah, we will be. I haven't ran the commercial yet, so there's that. All right, guys, commercial break. We'll be right back. I'm Ben.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch. I have to move that paper. It's driving me nuts.
Did we take care of that yet?
Nope.
Okay. It's driving her nuts, dear listener. All right. Here we go. Next song number 3 in our Radiohead marathon session is...
All right. Kid A. Everything in its right place. From the album Kid A. Okay, so this is the notes from our DJ Gabe.
DJ Gabe, as
The
you can
video-
see right there, DJ Gabe.
The video is a fan-made video that takes entirely from an award-winning short film called Backstory by Joshka. Okay, you read it. What's his name?
Yoshka Lakenkisk?
Lead singer Tom York told Rolling Stone in 2001 what happened after a show in Birmingham, England during their 1997 OK Computer tour. I came off the end of the show, he remembers, sat in the dressing room and couldn't speak. I actually couldn't speak. People were saying, "You all right?" I knew people were speaking to me, but I couldn't hear them, and I couldn't talk. I just so had enough. I was bored with saying I'd had enough. I was beyond that. He also added in England, sucking a lemon refers to the face you pull because a lemon is so tart. He twists his sharp features into a ferocious grimace. That's the face I had for 3 years.
Ugh.
Yikes. All right, you guys, let's check this out. Radiohead, everything in its right place.
And of course, the big homie Dwayne wants us to know that Radiohead was heavily influenced by the Beatles.
You're kidding me.
So there's that.
Every time.
I actually believe that, though. I actually believe that.
What, you don't usually believe Dwayne when he says that?
No, I don't see how Slayer took anything from the Beatles.
Oh, ridiculous. All right, you guys, let's go.
All right, guys, we'll check it out. Why is Sori so orange in that new intro? I need to fix that for you. She was trying to appeal to the
Trump supporters.
Everything in its right place.
If you want to,
Radiohead,
Amy,
let's
if you
go.
want to fix something, I have something else. A massive mistake I've made. I don't know if Vin has informed you.
Is this the official video? It's official to me. was Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead. Okay, so read Gabe's intro again.
The video is a fan-made video that takes entirely from an award-winning short film called Backstory. Lead singer Tom York told Rolling Stone in 2001 about what happened after a show in Birmingham, England during their 1997 OK Computer Tour. I came off the end of the show, he remembers, sat in the dressing room and couldn't speak. I actually couldn't speak. People were saying, "Are you all right?" I knew people were speaking to me, but I couldn't hear them and I couldn't talk. I just so had enough. And I was bored with saying I'd had enough. I was beyond that. He also added, in England, sucking a lemon refers to the face you pull because a lemon is so tart. He twists his sharp features into a ferocious grimace. This is the face I had for 3 years.
What do you think he meant when he said he'd had enough?
I mean, he talked before, like the other song about like the mental illness stuff and whatever. Like maybe it was the dealing with his own internal dialogue, dealing with the crowds, dealing with the way that the like how people when they put you up on a pedestal, how they try to consume you, like being constantly consumed by people, like just having enough, like and the idea of like sucking the life out of someone, and then when they're too tired to stand anymore, looking at them and saying, "Are you all right?" What do you mean, am I all right? Like, you know. So that was what kind of that made me think of.
Yeah, I remember. That's the thing. The other thing is a lot of these guys are introverts. A lot of artists are introverted. And that's the reason they're such good artists. Mm-hmm. Is because you need a lot of time by yourself to develop your art, whether it's writing, singing, playing guitar, whatever. Yeah. You need a lot of time by yourself because it takes a lot of concentration. And so introverts are naturally more artistic, disposed to mastering an instrument or mastering, something because they have a lot of free time because they orient their lives in such a way as to do that. But then what ends up happening is all the shit you were practicing for, you became successful. Mm-hmm. The problem is that people are not going to be like, "Oh, he developed this in a cave as an introvert." Like, sorry, you're a rock star now. You got a crazy album out there. The record label is telling you need to tour, get your music out there. Especially nowadays, I mean, these guys aren't making any money unless they do a tour, because you're just not making any money for the record label anymore.
That really sucks.
That's just how it goes. Like, yeah. So I could definitely see like that absolute like shell shock of going from being an introverted guy who hangs out with his friends who seem to be kind of like low effort in the sense of like when I saw them live and the way they were, it's like it seemed like they were all pretty easy to get along with. So you go from playing guitar in your room to hanging out with your fellow introverted friends who get you, and then you guys maybe you play a local show, there's 50 people and there's 5 bands, and people said, "Oh, I like what you did," and they move on. Mm-hmm. But now, like, you're this giant rock star, thousands of people clamoring to see you, grabbing you, all types of shit. It's very hard, man. It's very, very difficult. Fame is also something Tom said he wanted before he had it, thinking it would fill a void in him, but found it did the opposite. Yeah, that's where I was going. Because he says everything is in its right place. So it's like, you go your whole life being like, "Yo, if I had this, this, and this, then I would be happy." So everything is in its right place. That's the irony of the song. It's like, yo,
everything's exactly how he wanted it to be.
It's exactly how it's supposed to happen. You wanted to be famous. You wanted to be rich.
But he's still unhappy.
And like, it's like, I'm sure he feels it's better than working in an office. Mm-hmm. But
I think, though, that the idea that the grass is always greener on the other side is a phrase for a reason. Yeah. So you might think, I'm sure he prefers that over an office, but there are probably days where he's like, that friggin' office worker, nobody's clamoring at them all the time. They work and they go home. That's it. They work and they go home. So there's You know, the guy that's in the
Fair point.
office, he's like, man, I would love to be a rock star. That would be so cool. All my dreams come true. This guy's saying, look, it's all in the right place and there's still a problem.
Yeah. Although I still don't think he would trade it for working in an office.
Every day? No, I don't think so either.
I don't
Some
think
days?
I don't think he would.
Some days maybe he thinks that would be preferable.
We had this conversation though about a dude in a church that we knew. And there was a guy who was charismatic, popular, whatever. Ah, fuck, it was me. It doesn't make sense if I'm talking in code. Because now I'm going to start going into this person's deep emotions. And it's like, well, how do you know
so much about him? Okay, go ahead, babe.
But, I mean,
Lay it on
yeah,
us.
like, I was popular in the group. And people looked to me for guidance or whatever, and this dude just couldn't take it, man. Like, dude, he just made him more and more and more and more of a bitter person.
Yeah.
So, as he was being jealous of all of my fame and success, I was getting calls at 3 o'clock in the morning, all types of shit.
You'd be on for multiple hours.
And I had a full-time job, you know what I'm saying?
And a family.
Yeah, and so, like, you know, the constant, like, people clamoring for your attention, the constant people, like, grabbing you. Like, people would literally grab me and say, hey,
I
Vin,
know.
blah, blah, blah.
Like, oh my gosh.
You almost become, like, public property at that point when you're famous. Like, people don't understand that.
And I mean, like, people, some people have seen you, like, day in, day out for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, you can tell, like, on his face that there's some days where he's friggin' having a hard time. It didn't matter. Like, literally, he'd walk into the building and like, people would... That to me was odd that people felt that comfortable to, like... Because I always saw you as, like, a kind of, like, don't touch him type of person.
Yeah, I'm a don't touch me type of person. Like,
but
I'm a...
It was always, ooh, weird.
Yeah, I'm extremely introverted.
Give that man some
space. I was so overstimulated, it was horrible. Like, people were just, like, hanging off me and shit.
I tried to run interference for you for some of it, too.
This dude was like, like, he was...
He was seeing all these people clamoring. And the thing is, like, Vinny is the type of person, especially, like, you guys experience him through the channel, but if you experience him in real life, like, he gives you this feeling that if you're a female, like, you're safe. He's not trying to objectify you. He's not trying to get anything from you. Like, he's there, and but it's an experience that's so foreign to a lot of us women that when you get in that situation, you almost, like, clamor to it because it's like, I've been waiting for this my whole life. You know, like a friendship that you can have where the person is not trying to take anything from you. Like, they're just trying to have a friendship or whatever. And so but this other guy was in a situation where he would make you feel uncomfortable. He would show up before everybody else so then he could get alone with the girls. Like, he did these things that made us feel uncomfortable. And so obviously the more uncomfortable that guy made us feel, the more everybody migrated toward Vinny, which increased the amount of people but then that one guy was always like, to him it was like, I'm available and nobody's coming over to talk to me. Why is everybody clamoring on him? Well,
yeah, he hated me for it, but if I could have traded places with him, I would have in an instant. I tried to leave. Like 6 months in, I tried to leave. It wouldn't let me go. Bless God. Shout out to Betty Mac. I'd still be there, bro. Thank you. Yeah, like, I really like PL's breakdown here. Holy shit, PL. So 2 colors.
yeah, I was wondering.
Two colors, black and white, describing life as good or bad. Sucking the lemon equals different tastes gray. Don't really see how you get gray out of sucking the lemon. I thought that was a little bit of a reach there, my boy. What was that you tried to say? Incomprehensible because gray is not the color he needs in life. I thought that was interesting.
Okay, let me look at that now.
Check this out from Gabe. It's worth noting that when Kid A was released and people heard this song, first song on the record, people were like, what the fuck is this electronic bullshit? Where's the guitars? Band has 3 guitarists.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't think it was electronica stuff. I thought it was... I've got a setting. You know the It's a Bell song, the middle when I changed it in that that atmospheric sound?
Yeah.
Like, that's guitar. I just put that through one of the settings on the amp, and then I messed around with a couple other things and did a bend instead. Anyway, like, But I was like, yo, that's crazy. That doesn't sound like guitar. That sounds like some synth type of thing. Like, yeah, so I definitely see that. But yeah, man, this song is, I relate heavy to this song based on the context that Gabe gave us, because like, yeah, man, I was at the point where I was just like so burnt out off of people, man. I was like really burnt out.
I'm not joking you. There was a time where me and like his entire life had fallen apart, all right? So it was just him with a bunch of kids. And so me and two other people from our crew were over visiting you, and I could tell you were getting so tired, like he was friggin' exhausted. And I said, I gotta get these people out of his house because they didn't look like they were even trying to leave anytime soon. So I said, I told them, I said, hey, like he got up to get something, and I said, hey, you guys, like he's really tired, like he needs to rest, like we should leave. And they were like, yeah, well, whatever. So we all left, and as we're walking away, I repeated to them, because I know how fucking selfish people are in regards to him. And so I said, listen, I said, I think it's really good that we're all leaving right now, because he really needs to rest. I mean, he's been up, blah, 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 blah. They were like, yeah. They were bullshitting the entire time. They watched me take off in my vehicle, and they promptly went back into his house.
They turned
and
around.
so I messaged him when I got back home. I was like, hey, like, this is good. Take your rest, whatever. Nope. They're in the living room rapping. I was like...
It's like 4 o'clock in the morning.
I said, why don't you tell them to leave? Just too nice.
Yeah.
I'm like, why let them back in the house? They already left.
See, that's one of the things about like being an introvert. Like, it's weird because like I can speak to crowds and I can turn on like a certain level of gregarity, when I'm in a crowd. So when I'm like alone and it's one-on-one, I have a very, very hard time like talking to people about like, yo, get out of here. Like, you're taking too much out of me. I only say it to someone like you or someone like that. But like regular people, I don't know. I didn't know how to do that very well at the time, obviously. Yeah. And so I was literally like dead on my feet that night. Like I was like passed out like on my feet, and they were still here. But it was funny. I mean, hey, it is what it is.
I'm your wife now, so I would do it differently. I don't think they would try to come back in. You know what I mean? Like, I could be a stopgap in that sense, but
it would have been a lot. It would have been a lot different if, yeah.
Yeah, but I felt so bad for you. I'm like, I was also frustrated with you because I'm like, tell these friggin' people to leave. Like, I was like, these people, they'll just take. Well, they made their decision. They came back in, and now they're not in your life anymore.
The people I wanted to spend a lot of time with, like, gave me my space. So, like, Davey was like, yo, if I saw you in public, I'd be like, oh, there's the big homie, smile and carry on. Because I, too, am introverted. Then I tell you I saw you in the street. So he'd be somebody I'd, like, want to stop and like,
That's
no!
what I was going to say. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Davey, you should stop and at least say hey.
Yeah, like, I would hate that if he just, like, said, oh, yeah, I saw you at, whatever, and didn't speak to you. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really like this song. I get the song. I totally get the song. It's hard to explain what the song does, but it's kind of like, this is a song I could play on repeat over and over again when I'm in one of my whatever. Mm-hmm. It's a really, it makes you think. The lyrics are avant-garde enough to where you could kind of plug in your own situation. I just really, really liked it a lot. This is a 9.5 for me.
Is there anything, like, you know how people will be like, oh, if I had this, and this, I'd be better. I'd be good. Like, for me, like, I tell myself, really, if the entire house was, like, organized like I used to have my old house, I would be really good. But obviously that's not true. You know what I mean? Like, there's always other things. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We want to try to make our issues like external instead of realizing that maybe there's some whatever. Do you have anything like that you're like, there's like one party that's like, yeah, that's not a fix, but there's another party that's like, yeah, but if this.
I mean, obviously, the major project we're working on right now. Like getting our businesses to the next level.
Yep.
Relocating, those types of things. But see, I grew up with my mom like moving around all over the place, and it never got her what she was looking for. See what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
always
but at the
get
same time,
nervous
she
when I
kept bringing
hear
the
it.
old back into the new. Like there was a,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like there's a
Yeah.
person that wasn't good for her at that
Yeah.
point.
No. Yeah.
And she'd move states, but then bring them.
Yeah, I'm just very, very skeptical about anytime people say this is gonna happen, so
Right.
this is gonna make, like, anytime there's like a life change.
There's
and people
no silver bullets.
And people think it's gonna do something. I'm always like, yeah, bro, that's probably not gonna work out the way you think it is. Maybe that's just cynicism. I don't know. But the trick is to just go, I'm really happy with how I am right now, and then work from there. Yeah, unless you're not. In which case, I don't know how that trick's gonna work. No, it's a genuine question.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, that's valid. Okay.
It's a 9.6 for me. I love this song.
9.1.
This is weird because it's not like a catchy pop song, but that line, like, in its right place, like that repetition over and over again is like sticking in my, it's like stuck in my head. It's interesting. Really, really interesting.
All right, you guys, we'll be right back.
We shall return, dear listener. Then out.
Story out.
Gone. Commercial break. We'll be right back. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get matched down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull
You
that off.
can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee, a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord,
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
and they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
Buy our merch. All right, you guys, DJ Gabe in the house with a
DJ Gabe
full
in the house, as
night
you can
of
see.
Radiohead. The next song is called Optimistic.
Why are you laughing?
Because I don't think that you're an optimist, and it was just a funny title to
Oh.
me. Because you just said, like, you'll say you're a realist and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah, I agree.
I think I used to be an optimist. I definitely used to be an optimist. Now I'm not sure what I am.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not even sure, like, if I was around an optimistic person now, how I would feel about that. Because I remember how people used to feel around me because I was so optimistic. It really grated on them. You could tell.
It upset them?
You could tell that they wanted you to be as miserable about life in the world as they were. And yeah, it would get on people's nerves. And sometimes they would come right out and say, like, why are you so friggin' positive about everything, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd always be like, oh, it's because I'm a Christian. Because I thought you always had to have a good attitude, otherwise you're misrepresenting your religion. So even if I was in a bad mood, I never shared that. What am I going to share that with my coworker? No. So, interesting. Okay, so this is what DJ Gabe has to say about this song called Optimistic. During live performances, Tom York has sung this version of the chorus. You can try the best you can, you can try the best you can, the best you can ain't good enough. The chorus for Optimistic was directly inspired by Tom York's long-term partner, Rachel Owen. During the making of Kid A, Tom was constantly stressed out on the verge of an emotional breakdown because of his desire to make the album as perfect as humanly possible. His partner would constantly try to calm him down by telling him that the best you can is good enough. Oh, she was trying. But I can see how, well, that wouldn't work for me. Like, if I really wanted it to be better, I'm like, yeah, the best I can. Like, I know I can do better than this. If somebody's like, just that's good enough.
Yeah,
I think that would annoy you too if I said that to you when you were really trying to make something a certain way.
What?
If I was like, well, the best you can is good enough, babe.
Oh, yeah.
See? Shout out to Rachel.
Would never happen. All right, here we go. Shout out to Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel Owen's the one that would say that to him.
Oh, okay.
She was trying to help him.
Trying to help him. There's some people can't be helped.
Or maybe she was sick of his belly aching about it. She wanted him to stop. I don't know.
All right, here we go.
Who knows?
Optimistic Radiohead. Let's do it. Boop. jazzy. Kind of jazzy. All right, that was, what was the name of that song?
Optimistic.
Optimistic.
Okay. That's so interesting that, okay, so she used to say that to him. Probably he wasn't a fan of that phrase, but it did make it into a song. And then when he would do it live, sometimes he'd switch it and say,
the best you can ain't good enough.
Right.
Yeah, Jacko, I think you're right. Those guys don't miss. Yeah. Man, that's can you relate to that? Aren't you a bit of a perfectionist? Or how is that?
Yeah.
How's that going?
I haven't mastered it. It feels like it's like a lifelong thing, but, and the other thing too is it's not my choice to stop being a perfectionist. Like, I don't feel like I was like, you know what? This would be beneficial to not be such a perfectionist. It was foisted upon me. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have a bunch of kids and be a perfectionist. You just can't. Like, you have to cut corners in different places. You have to, you know, add more water to the soup, so to speak, or allow something to just, you know, be certain ways. I mean, you've got a house full of people. You can't have I'm telling you, at my old house, like, I folded each towel and each washcloth to, like, I got the edges completely lined up on all the sides, folded it. It looked like friggin' a hotel in my house all the time, inside of all the cupboards and everything. You just can't do that. And I think that it's still a struggle, but, like, I think that there's a lesson that has to be learned. We talked about this before, that you will keep, you know, whether you want to call it God or you want to call it the universe, you know, like, God's going to keep bringing you the same lesson over and over until you learn the lesson. And even if he keeps bringing it to you, once you've learned the lesson, you're not going to feel the pain of it so much.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, I had a long journey with, you know, when you have a lot of people in a smaller area, like, stuff gets broken, and that used to just drive me crazy. But then coming to the realization that there is no thing in this entire world that is more important than my children. And so I changed on that, and I realized that if stuff gets broken, like, it's not right, we'll handle that or whatever. But at the same time, like, you can't just lose it on everybody, because I can't stand it when a pot is dented. Like, I mean, I literally just bought myself a new set of pots, a new set of pans, and within 3 days, they already dented one of them. I just like to see the perfect circle. Can't. Now I'm cooking my egg, and all I can see is that fucking dented corner. It just grates on me. But I'm trying to tell myself, so I haven't mastered it. So I looked at that dented corner, and I was like, really? 3 days? That's it? 3 days? And they're non-stick pans? Like, you didn't even have to struggle to clean it. Like, how the fuck did you do that?
How did this occur?
Yeah, but then I say to myself, is the egg gonna be ruined because the pan is not a perfect circle? No, it's not. Does it bother me? Yes, it does. Do I feel like it says something, like, my reaction to it says something about where I'm at? Other people's, the way that they treat the stuff, that also says something. So it's interesting how there's multiple things going on at the same time. Like, it's not all one person. Like, if the pot is dented, I can't blame that on everybody else and be angry at everybody else. I have to look internally at myself and say, why is this dented pot so important to me? Like, why is, you know, I spent $25 on 3 pots. They're not that expensive. Why is the dent? I don't know yet. I still don't know why that is.
As Gordon Ramsay says, it's non-stick, you donkey!
But the other thing too is we're running so many businesses, and on top of that, you know, you've got a bunch of kids, and when I sit down with my computer, people are asking, they want attention, they want time. I want time with them too, and like, you're trying to, like, kind of spread yourself out, and you realize that you can't make everything perfect boxes. Like, some stuff just has to be circles, I guess you could say. That's kind of how I think of it. I can't get all the edges. I can't get everything perfectly, but stuff has to be good enough. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't choose this. I haven't chosen to grow past my perfectionism. I've learned to survive you know what I mean? And I don't think that that's the goal. I think the goal is to recognize that I have, like, perfectionism can be really good in certain areas. For instance, if you own a hotel and you are doing the towels, when I open it up and I see that that makes me feel like the place is cleaner. If somebody just kind of shoves it in, everything's crooked, I'm like, You know, so there are areas and there are times, but then there are also times where when you're a perfectionist, it really is destructive. So I'm trying to... So that didn't really answer the question, I guess.
No, it answered the question. It looks to me like the struggle here is, for him, is...
But you're like that too with your music.
I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my music, for sure. For sure. But it's not the kind of perfectionism that's discouraging to me, though. It's just like...
Oh, my...
Like if I miss a note or whatever, it's like a challenge, you know, like...
Yeah, but if your notes...
perfect run-through, like if I hit a perfect run-through, I'm like, yo, that's challenging. But then after a while, I say, okay, that means the song's too simple for you. So now you have to write something a little bit more complicated. So it's like, it elevates what I can do, because like I'm trying to squeeze all the juice out of the orange because of the limitations I have. So I'm like, yo, I gotta do, you know, like I'm working on a solo right now. Like I usually don't play lead parts, you know, like it's a matter of trying to just challenge myself.
Yep.
So like if I hit perfection on like one of my songs, then it's like you can't camp out there very long, and I just say, okay, that means the song's too simple now. So I gotta do something else. So it doesn't, you know. The problem is that when you do something and you hold yourself to that standard, if other people are holding themselves to that standard, then it gets really, you know, Michael Jackson-y. Mm-hmm. You know, when that Michael Jackson was looking at that lady and she was singing all off key and shit, and he was ice grilling her because he holds himself to a certain kind of standard. But then you start interfacing people, it's like, yo, she just wanted to have fun, man. Like it was, I guess it was like 3:00 in the morning or whatever. They'd all done the Grammys. It's like they were all like gassed, they were tired, and it's like, nah. But this to me seems like, and this is, so that's not where perfectionism gets me. I think this is more of like the conflict that this guy has between his ideal self and his actual self. Because the song starts off with, flies are buzzing around my head, vultures circling the dead, picking up every last crumb, the big fish eat the little ones, the big fish eat the little ones, not my problem, give me some. So that to me says that he has, you know, by this time they're very successful, and I think this, like the first is talking about like the corporatization of music. Mm-hmm. Flies are buzzing around my head, so like he feels like a dead person, vulture circling the dead, picking up every last crumb. So it's like, it seems that he feels he's being consumed
to the very last crumb.
But the big fish eat the little ones. So that to me is why I said, okay, this is like the record execs or the music industry.
But then he says, not my problem, give me some.
Right, because he's basically surrendered to that. And he has, because he's made millions off of the industry. But the industry is based and rooted in capitalism.
Right.
So the big fish eat the little ones, not my problem, give me some. Because he himself is a victim. Because he's, you know, kind of like this dead body who the vultures are circling and people are consuming him. And he's basically like, well...
But at the same time, he's not at the bottom because he's still famous.
That's what he's saying, give me some, yeah. Like, I'm going to take some of that nasty corporate money, even though I hate it. And so now you've got this juxtaposition of a guy who is, like, not his ideal self. Because his ideal self would say, I don't want your money, filthy corporation.
Right.
I'm going to stay completely true to my art, you know. And so... because he can't, because internally he has that struggle with himself that he can't reconcile, then his perfectionism relative to the album is just a symptom of that real issue. The real issue is that he can't, in my view, he can't reconcile himself to like his actions to himself or his belief system or his ideal to what he's taking part in. And so, because that's way too hard to do, I'm going to focus on something that it is possible I could attain to, which is making the perfect record, playing the perfect note. So a lot of times perfectionists, like the real maniacal ones, it's not even about the things that they're trying to perfect. It's about trying to find something that is measurable. Because like, how can you measure, like for example, if you're having an issue in your relationship, there's no objective way to get your girl to let her know how you feel or whatnot. That's subjective. But if I go to and a lot of dudes do this. If I go to work, there are objective criteria I can hit or I can miss. Mm-hmm. Right? And so a lot of times people will pour their perfectionism into that because that's at least going to get you a guaranteed result.
Yeah.
Or at least there's going to be some logic as to why the result didn't turn out the way you wanted. But then the internal shit that's much, much harder to deal with, they don't want to touch it because they don't think they can, they're going to be able to make it work. So it's
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
So then he says you can try the best you can. The best you can is good enough. This one's optimistic. This one went to market. This one just came out of the swamp. This one drops a payload. Fodder for the animals living on the animal farm, which is again.
At the end of the day, they're all pigs.
Well, yes, but remember, in Animal Farm, one of the pigs rose to supremacy, and then there was that famous line, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. So it was like he started out as a good communist, but then when he saw the high living of capitalism, the pig basically said, I really like this actually. So if you look at him, he considers himself that sellout pig, where he probably started out like communist, socialist, blah 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 blah, but now he's like at the top of the food chain relative to capitalism or whatever, and so he has then himself become that sellout pig, the one that all all animals are equal. He has now become that. This one drops the payload, father for the animals living on the animal farm, and so again, like he cannot reconcile himself to his real self versus ideal self. He can't square those two.
Not a good place to be in.
I'd really like to help you, man. Nervous, messed up marionette floating around on a prison ship. That's talking about the Earth, probably.
Oh, the prison ship is the Earth?
Yeah. He's floating around on a prison ship.
And who's running the marionette? Is it the corporations?
It looks to me like the corporation, yeah.
Yeah.
So, these were...
But then he ends with dinosaurs roaming the Earth. So do you think that that's a throwback to that other song where he was saying, look, everything's all going to just blow up anyway?
I think that other song was also on Kid A. I'm not sure.
So maybe that's
how... But I'm pretty sure. But dinosaurs roaming the Earth,
Like...
He's saying...
Like, for instance, so we're Christians, so sometimes I go in those spin-outs, right? Where I'm like, this is not perfect, that's not perfect, holy shit, that's not perfect. Is there anything that's perfect? And I start looking around and there's literally nothing that I can point to. I have no track record over the last 5 years where I can look to it and I can say, I have been consistently perfect in that fucking shit. There's nothing. I've flawed and made mistakes in every single area. But then I tell myself, well, God says he's working everything out for my good. So even the stuff that looks really horrible or the stuff that looks like that's never going to fucking work itself out, he's still working it. So at the end of it, like when this is all over, I'm going to be like, oh, that's why. Like, that's why this or that. So maybe that's his way of, like, dinosaurs roaming the Earth. Like, okay, at the end of it, like, everything's just going to reset anyway. And what does the song matter when everything resets? Like, I don't know if that's what he's doing with that dinosaurs roaming the Earth comment at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking dinosaurs roaming the Earth to be a thematic way of saying that the Earth is going to reset. Right? Like, it's
exactly.
And so it's like...
Exactly. So what is this stress, whatever, about all this and that stuff actually matter? Or were you saying something else?
Well, it's an ironic way to end the song because that's not a very optimistic way to end the song. All humanity's going to be wiped off the Earth and dinosaurs are going to roam the Earth.
Well, no, I really think it depends on how you look at it. Because you could look at it as like, okay, we were all done away with, so that's not very optimistic.
It's impossible for us to coexist with dinosaurs.
Right. Or you could look at it and you could say like, well, it's going to reset itself and everything's going to like cycle its way through again, so it's going to be okay. Like...
Yeah, I think if
maybe there's something wrong with me that kind of like calms my mind.
If you had an event where all humanity was so dead that dinosaurs came back, like, I mean, I guess you could try to spin that as something positive. But
okay, this is what I'm saying. If I write music, and in 20 years from now everything is going to go away and the only thing that's going to be left is the dinosaurs, then how much stress should I really put into this song that is not going to last forever and for always? Dinosaurs are going to be roaming the Earth. Everything's going to be gone.
I mean, that's a form of nihilism, right? I mean, we're all going into the ether. So
right, that's what I'm saying.
Nobody generally looks at nihilism. Nobody says like, if a person were to say, you know, I was stressed about this test, but eventually the planet's going to go into heat death, the sun's going to go into heat death and evaporate us all, so I'm not going to study for this test. Nobody would say, oh, that's a good application of heat death of the sun.
People used to do the same thing with the rapture.
Yeah,
the Christians believe that God is going to snatch you out. A lot of people still believe it. All of a sudden, he'll just take up all the Christians. I knew a girl that wasn't paying her college bills because of that. I said, how are you going to pay for this? And she was like, well, I'm figuring the rapture is going to happen before the end of college, so.
La ilaha.
You don't remember that? It was literally, when she said that, I know this is so horrible, but I could not wait to gossip to you about it. Because I knew you were going to make a big giant reaction. You were like, what? you could not believe. Like, it was basically that, like, why would you apply it that way? Sure enough, the rapture didn't happen. And,
how do you know? Probably got left behind. I mean, look at the last 7 years.
True.
The last
Wait
7
a
years
minute.
have been very tribulation-y. Yeah, no, dinosaurs roaming the earth. I think it's meant to be pessimistic to create the irony from the song title.
Mm-hmm.
I think dinosaurs, especially in the previous song where dinosaurs were roaming the earth because Mother Nature just went and just killed us all, and God wouldn't intervene. So I just think that I think it's pretty clear that ending is, that guy is not an optimist. He's a pretty pessimistic fella.
Sorry.
I guess his wife died.
Oh.
The one that was all encouraging him.
The
and
optimistic
stuff.
one?
Yeah, I think she died. I saw in the comment section, which is terrible.
Yeah.
That's sad. Shout out to Andrew Thomas, wherever you are. It's 12:50 where he is, so he must be in Europe. Yeah, man.
All right. Well, that one's a 9.6 for me. What about you?
I'm gonna give this one a 9.5. A 9.5. Try to be excellent, folks.
Yeah, read Eddie's message.
Try to be excellent. Okay, let's see. Eddie Dreadful says, perfection isn't possible in reality. You could do your best and still come out on the bottom doing your best, and being optimistic is no guarantee that everything will be okay. That's true. That is true. You know, one of the things that I figured out that's been marginally helpful is that if you set your own standards, then you can deal with your imperfections a lot better. So, like, if I say, okay, I'm gonna run through this scale in 20 seconds with 0 flaws. I could do that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate to me being the greatest guitarist in the neighborhood or whatnot. But if I had the standard like, hey, I hit it. I did 20 seconds, hit the scale, went up and down, did everything perfectly, not one miss. My right and left hands were coordinated perfectly. Like, you got to be able to say, like, okay, boom, that's perfect for this little thing.
Yep. And what you should never do is let your standards be judged by someone else. That will make you absolutely miserable.
Yeah, you
because
set
you can
small,
try
reasonable goals for yourself, and then once you attain it, you can keep going.
Mm-hmm. And you can try to appease somebody else, and it might, it might be that because their standards are so different than yours that you're never going to be able to even back close to 1,000. So I think you're right. I think that there's importance to being able to set your goals, set your standards, but at the same time you have to be able to make sure that those standards are not just being within your own head, and are they rational,
Yeah, I mean, to Davey's point, I am already the GOAT rapper, so.
Right, I mean.
9.5 for me.
9.6 for me. We're coming up next with Pyramid Song. We'll be right back.
Pyramid Song by this band named Radiohead. I don't know if you've heard of them or not. DJ Gabe in the house, bitches. Been out.
Sori out.
Gone. Commercial break, be right back. I'm Ben.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at sori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Say it. Say bye.
Buy your merch.
Look there and say it. Say it.
Buy your merch.
Say hi, people.
Hi, people.
What's your name?
Good.
How are you? Tell them what your name is.
My name is Blippi.
Blippi?
Yeah.
He likes watching Blippi, obviously.
What is Blippi?
It's a little show. Actually, it was this guy that saw these stupid shows that they were making for kids, and he decided that he could make them better.
He too could make a stupid
Yeah, because he
show?
saw his nephews watching it, and so he started making. He would go to. It's like a grown man, and he'll go to like places and play on kids' toys and jump around like kids do. Kids love his show. I heard so much bad stuff about it, but it's not. It's been great, and the kids love it. Keeps them occupied for hours sometimes.
Hi, T.
No, say
hi, Gabe.
Hi, Gabe.
Say hi, DJ Gabe.
Hi, DJ.
Look right there. Look right there. Say hi, DJ Gabe.
Hi, DJ Gabe.
Yeah, one last thing. Throw your hands up and yell, Radiohead!
Radiohead.
Yeah! Okay. We love you.
I love you. All right, go to bed now.
Is it bedtime?
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock, mashallah.
I love you so much.
All right.
Okay, we gotta work. Come for a quick kiss. All right, we're, Yeah. Not right now. Here.
There you go.
Take those. Give some to Reza. There you go. Okay, bye now.
Okay, hey, listen. Tell Reza. Look at me. Tell Reza if he doesn't
Johan.
stop yelling, he's not getting his blanket.
We need you to make sure that this stays manageable.
Okay.
We're working. Okay, so.
All right. We have returned. We have returned.
Yes, yes. Did you see Johan with his apron on from work?
Yeah. Hello, buddy.
He's a working man. He's a working man.
High five. We get the high five to it. Everybody loves little Reza.
Oh, my God, he's so cute. Okay. All right, DJ Gabe has brought us more Radiohead.
Speaking
Up
of
next,
which, we have baby formula by the name of Fuji Bear. You know, dear listener, formula standards have not been updated since 1980 in the United States of America. And that's the reason why we went to Europe to get this formula manufactured. We actually tried the formula on our own kids because our own kids couldn't take regular American formula. We had to use Nutramigen, which is like $50 for 14 ounces. We had to use soy formula, which smells and tastes disgusting, which the kid hated. And then we found out that the Europeans are light years ahead of us relative to that, and that the standards for being a formula company in Europe are extremely rigorous. Pretty much none
which is the
of
opposite
the American,
of
none
because
of the American companies would pass over there.
you guys, 1980 is when they last updated.
Before we were born.
It's insane. Anyway. Jinx. Okay, so we have Radiohead Pyramid Song up next. That's from the Amnesiac album.
Okay.
Their albums Kid A and Amnesiac were recorded at the same time. Oh my gosh, but Amnesiac was released much later. Kid A, October 2nd of 2000, and Amnesiac, May 30th of 2001. Tom York said Stephen Hawking talks about the theory that time is another force, that time is completely clinical. No, please say that word. I don't know why my mind is doing this.
Cyclical.
Thank you. It's something I found in Buddhism as well. That's what Pyramid Song is about, and the fact that everything is going in circles. According to bassist Colin Greenwood, it was the image of people being ferried across the river of death that most affected Tom York. This is reflected in the song's many references to Dante's imagery journey through hell, purgatory, heaven in the Divine Comedy. These include the black-eyed angels, a moon full of stars, and jumping into the river.
Okay, guys, Radiohead.
That was Imaginary Journey.
Pyramid Song.
I swear, sometimes.
I didn't say a word. Pyramid Song, Radiohead, let's do it. That was a false alarm. Just wanted to see if you guys are paying attention. No
Pyramid
vanilla.
Song. Let's go.
My computer's getting chippy.
Our internet. I think it's the internet.
That would have nothing to do with this though.
Jumped in the river, what did I see? Black-eyed angels swam with me. A moon full of stars and astral cars, and all the figures I used to see. All my lovers were there with me. All my past and future. Oh, we all went to heaven in a little rowboat. There was nothing to fear, nothing to doubt. Jumped into the river. Black-eyed angels swam with me. A moon full of stars and astral cars, and all the figures I used to see.
spooky as hell.
Yeah.
Bro. That was a really spooky song.
Yeah, there was something satisfying and not disheartening, but something that kind of made you feel off the edge, like spooky, haunting, like sort of.
Yeah. So you say he was looking at time as a force?
Right.
Is that what he said?
Time is another force. That time is completely cyclical.
It's another force, and that time is completely cyclical, so it's going in a cycle, past life, and all that jazz. He's interesting when he was like. It seems like he was focusing on death, which all of us have to at some point. Jumped in the river. Black-eyed angels were swimming with him. You got that from Dante's Inferno. We're going through that book right now where people are having these near-death experiences.
Yeah.
And / past life, regressions, like remembering things from a past life, which again, I don't believe that it's a person from the past life, but I do believe that something is happening. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's consciousnesses get blended. I don't know what it is, but there are definitely people who know shit about the way people 100 years ago died or whatnot. It was this kid from World War II. I mean, that wasn't 100 years ago at the time that, but like, it's weird, man. Like this kid, he knew like 38 pieces of data about this dude's life that nobody else knew.
It was before he was at an age where he could read.
Yeah, it was before he was pre-literate.
There was a lot of stuff there was like a couple things. There was like one or two different things that they thought that the kid had it wrong, and then upon further investigation, it was like, oh my gosh, like at the last minute something got switched.
Yeah.
And it was what the kid said.
Yeah.
Weird.
And he says, in this song, he says, we all went to heaven in a little rowboat.
Yeah. That part was sad to me.
How come?
Because, well, one, when he said, all my lovers were there with me, all of my past and futures, and we all went to heaven in a little rowboat. I think, like, there was an example that you talked about once where you were at the cross with somebody and you guys both nodded and then went your ways.
Yep.
So like this one, like where everybody from his past, because, well, I mean, realistically, you can't be with 5 people at the same time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it doesn't matter how significant or insignificant. Can I use the charger? Like those relationships were from the past, and so he's saying, like when he was singing it, I was like, oh, that's cool. When I thought about if you were singing it, I obviously didn't like it anymore. But the idea that everybody is all together, and I think you kind of get that in Christianity, where there's like a feasting table and everybody's all there together. And I kind of think that that's what kind of like what he was trying to communicate. But like when it said we all went to heaven in a little rowboat, I liked the simplicity of that, like, because life gets really, really complex, and then like at the end of it, like we're just in a rowboat and we're all going to heaven together. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And if you could, like in regular life, one person couldn't be in a boat with all their past people that they had relationships with. I mean, there would probably be some fighting, some whatever, but this is different. Like everybody's past it now. It's just, you know what I mean?
As I said, there's nothing to fear, nothing to doubt. So
yeah,
like if you get to that existence, then petty things like those kinds of issues you would assume they would disappear. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when I listen to these people, at first I got the book just because I was doing research, and I was like, oh, this woman she's not a spiritual person. Although after she did all her work, lady? Yeah, after she did all her work, she did say she got spiritual because the information changed her. Because so again, we're talking about near-death experiences, and people are, the famous one where this woman is describing a shoe that was on the left side of a roof that nobody knew, but she said she floated above and saw it. And then they went up to check, and sure enough, there it was. I mean, this woman's published, Lindsay Kane. I mean, she's published in the New York Times. She was the one that broke the UAP story in 2017. That was her. So, I mean, she's. So when I first got that book, I'm like, all right, I'm going to see what the scientific data says about,
Yeah.
you know, this phenomenon.
Yeah.
But then when you start hearing the stories, man, it's unbelievable, like how much evidence there is for that life after death. It's incredible. And then on the other hand, you also have, you know, we keep making reference to this, the recent Nobel Peace Prize winners for physics, one of whom was an American, that basically explained to us that the universe is not locally real. So there are two principles. One is locality, which is to say that things can only influence each other if they're in a direct space with each other, and you can't travel faster than the speed of light. Mm-hmm. The speed of light is a standard speed limit for the universe. It's the only objective thing
That's how we've measured things
in the universe, right? For the Einstein's theory of relativity, right? So the only thing that's not relative to time and space is the speed of light. Okay, so you can't have anything travel faster than the speed of light. So that's but in order for objects to influence each other, they must be local to one another. Okay, that's locality. Realism is that objects carry their own independent measurements aside from observation. So the question is, if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? A local realist, which 99.99% of us are, would say yes. I would say no, it doesn't make a sound because the tree doesn't really exist unless it's measured. So the moon is not there unless you're observing it, right? It's the observer in physics. Okay. So now we know that the universe is not locally real. We know that particles can communicate with each other from literally opposite ends of the universe and have instantaneous, quote, communication. Okay? So the principle of locality isn't true. And then the concept of realism is not true either, because we've got evidence of particles that come into being upon observation but do not exist prior to that. So if all the trees and everything are made up of particles, then nothing is local or real. Okay, so then what is everything? Well, everything is a product of mentation, of a mind. So this is no theology at all. We're just talking science here, and we're talking about Nobel Prize.
Yes,
okay.
Because most Christians don't go to talk about this.
Okay, so that means then that the name of the game is I was just reading a scientific paper today, and the guy basically said, yeah, the universe isn't locally real. And then he said, basically, but for normal people who don't care about science, just continue to believe the illusion is true. It's basically what he said. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that's how that's how the thing ended. Yeah, he said. Okay. He said basically, just continue to believe that the illusion is true. It's like, but to me, it's like, well, wait a second.
It's too much work to.
Well, wait a second. If that means that matter, the thing that we call matter, is not fundamental, that means consciousness is fundamental. Well, that changes everything, because if consciousness is fundamental, then on what basis could you say that consciousness is completely eliminated upon death? Mm-hmm. Just logically speaking, you cannot extrapolate that from that. So when you look at all these near-death experiences, it's like, well, this makes sense even from a secular perspective. All you have to do is say that consciousness is the only thing that actually is. The physical plane we were in is a temporary situation, and your consciousness is going to go back to being a unregulated consciousness when you, quote, die, because the brain does not produce consciousness. I mean, the brain is a filter or a channel for consciousness to limit our consciousness in this realm so that we can function in it, because if we were completely aware of everything that was actually going on, we wouldn't be able to focus and function on this level. So my point is, you can believe in life after death, or if you want to say consciousness after death, I'd probably say post-death consciousness is probably a better way to say it, where your ego is still intact, where you still have all of your memories, your personalities, your picadillos, whatever you want to call them. Like, you can easily make a secular case for that based on just hard data, not wishful thinking, just hard data. Mm-hmm. I've been trying to get into a debate with some atheists, because I wanted to see like how they function with the lack, without local realism.
Yeah, it's weird though. A
So-
lot of them they don't have access to the internet to get on with you.
Yeah,
Their
for
phones
whatever
don't work or
whatever
something.
reason. Yeah. So like that to me is, what's up, Spain? That to me is like one of the things that's fascinating is all these people say when they've had those experiences, they no longer fear death.
Yep.
It's usually a positive experience for people who've experienced an NDE, as far as like.
That's true.
you
Well,
know.
there are some that, but for the most part, yeah. There are
Yeah.
some people that come back and they're terrified.
Yeah, but those are the minority.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, exactly.
but they're still changed for life too.
Yeah.
But right here where he says there's nothing to fear, nothing to doubt, like
He said was. No.
I-
No, not there is. There was.
yeah, but
Oh, I was thinking.
again, these people have these experiences, but then it settles them in this world as well. So
It's interesting because it's kind of like when people take those DMT trips.
What do you mean?
Well, it kind of sounds like some of the stuff that people say. They kind of sounds similar.
Yes.
The way what they experience and how they experience it and how it changes them. And
Yeah.
both of those are like seem to be like some out of body sort of experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So, like that concept that your consciousness continues. If you want to use the metaphor of the ship in the sea and all the rest of it, like it's all talking about the same thing. It's transitioning.
Yeah, it's that river.
From one state to another, right? So whether it Styx or the Jordan River in Christian theology, it stands for transitioning.
Yeah.
And I think if people looked at life, quote, life after death or the afterlife from the perspective of just simply consciousness, I think it sounds less wooey.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because at minimum, we all have to agree that from a physical standpoint, we have no scientific explanation as to how your brain generates consciousness. I mean, your brain is a muscle. How come your heart doesn't generate consciousness?
Mm-hmm.
What is it about the constitution of the, you know what I'm saying? Like, the people, there's neurons in there. It's like, no, there's no neurons. They don't exist. Those are reflections of a dissociative boundary, as Bernardo Kastrup would say. If the universe isn't locally real, then what is your brain? If your brain doesn't have standalone existence, then what is it?
Yeah.
And so Kastrup would say that it's all these things that you see in the quote physical world are just the after effects of what's happening in the invisible world. That's also like if you throw a rock into an ocean, it's going down, but then you see these to mistake the ripple for the pond is the issue. Okay, what do you got for this song?
So this one had like that. It did have that sort of eerie sound to it, but then there was also a calmness about it. But then there was also like a I don't know, something I couldn't put my finger on with the song. Something that maybe made me feel uneasy. Something that I didn't like. I'm not sure. Not that it was like the sound, but maybe it was the idea of not being completely sure, like the song itself. Because obviously this is just an idea. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But I think that conceptually, there's like what you did with it. Yeah, I think that we could do that. But yeah, I definitely think it had a sort of eerie sound to it, and anytime that I think that there's that sort of discussion about sort of crossing over and people's thoughts on it, and what is on the other side. But I like that he was saying like we all went. Yeah, but I did like the sound of it. It did seem like it was a little off. Maybe people were saying, wait,
it was.
No. What I was gonna say was people were saying that it was off, but I didn't experience it as off, and I usually do. So I thought that's interesting because there are times where we're like practicing, and you're like you're a little off, and I don't realize that I'm off, and I didn't realize, I didn't realize like that this one was a little off.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, perhaps
this was purposefully, you know.
Yeah, but I couldn't hear that it was.
Off.
I couldn't hear it being off, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why they called it the pyramid song. Apparently, like the way that it's written is probably looks like a pyramid or a triangle or something. I don't know. Okay. But I really liked it, especially when the strings came out. The strings were crazy because I wasn't expecting it, and it was like it was a little bit off, like a half step, and then the strings came in. It was just completely unexpected, but it worked. It was dramatic. Would you give it?
9.4. Wow, these are all getting high ratings.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a 9.5.
Almost gave it a 9.5. Now you beat me.
The song could also tap into the ending of The Lord of the Rings where Frodo and Gandalf were sailing away. Yeah. Oh yeah, XBM says the peer-reviewed study about the woman who was told by voices about her tumor is something everyone should read. Yeah, that was a crazy situation. But it talks about
wild.
consciousness. This woman heard a voice in her head that says, "You have a tumor, and you need to get it checked out." And so she went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "Well, we're not just going to give you a, whatever." And so he started investigating. For insurance
reasons, they have to keep going through a bunch of things.
He's like, do you have, these symptoms, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, this was going on for like over the course of a year or something like that. Finally, somebody listened to her. They did the CAT scan or whatever, and sure enough, she had a tumor there. And after she got out of surgery or whatever, she heard a voice in her head say, "We were happy to assist you. Have a great day," and she never heard it again.
I wonder what she went on to do in her life.
And there was a peer-reviewed study about it.
Yeah.
And the folks that did the study said, "This is legit. This is real. Do what you will with that, dear listener. It's real." You know what I'm saying? So that's my point. It's like consciousness. Like there's so much about consciousness we don't know, and we talk about this like we believe that every person is really a collection of multiple consciousnesses. And then there is one executive consciousness that's supposed to be responsible for these subgroups. That's basically our our belief system right now, based on the things that we've just been in a lot of scientific literature for the past 2 years, really.
Yeah,
it's really odd. Like it's been a lot of, but it's fascinating though, because when you go into those fields and you hear what these people are saying, and then you do a little philosophy of mind with Bernardo Kastrup or Don Hoffman, like it opens up the world in so many different possibilities. But consciousness is a hell of a thing. 9.5, dear listener.
9.4.
9.5. This was written by Tom York after a visit to an exhibition of Egyptian art during a 2-week sojourn in Copenhagen in 1999. He told MTV, "That song literally took 5 minutes to write, but yet it came from all these mad places. It's something I never thought I could actually get across in a song and lyrically." See that?
Yeah, okay.
Think about that.
Cool.
He wrote that song in 5 minutes. A lot of people are saying this is their favorite Radiohead song. This is what I'm talking about. Like, Ben asked this question. He said, do sounds want to be heard? You could also say, do lyrics want to be written? When people say things like muse, like this was my muse, like there's this phenomenon where like you have writer's block, and then all of a sudden something happens and everything just flies out. Or you'll hear people talk about like these amazing songs that they wrote in 5 minutes. Like, again, I think that there's some mysterious consciousness stuff going on in those moments. But
that's interesting. How much of what is yours is actually yours alone?
Yeah, because we have so many, we have such a postmodern understanding of everything now, and we're so scientific now, even though everything I said was science. The problem is that scientists are discovering things that theologians and philosophers were talking about for thousands of years. And so now there's that sort of like, we told you so. And then the scientists are saying, yeah, but you didn't give us any evidence. So now we have evidence. So now we can like be friends and sail off into the ether together. All right. There you go, dear listener.
More Radiohead on the way. We'll be right back.
Vin is talking about me. I mean, I don't know. The Beatles definitely had something going on with that. They definitely did. Vin out.
Sorry, Al.
Gone. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at sori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch. Welcome to the stream, ladies and gentlemen. This is Radiohead for the big homie Gabe. We will... Vin will be back. Okay, don't worry about that. You need to go to bed. I guess we'll just do an Ask Me Anything while I'm waiting for the homie to return. Let's see. Yes, it is true, Papa Copia, what the comment section is saying. There's a couple different ways. If you're like, yeah, I can't buy a song, that's crazy. The way that you can do that is to join Patreon, and that is you can join an alliance for $1 a month. And then you can work with a crew of other people to get songs on our list, and that would be the way to do that. So $1 a month is sometimes the best way. For some people prefer to do it. That's Vinny always says if he was to do it, that's the way he would do it, because he would want to work with the stream. For me, I would just want to buy the song straight up because I don't want to have to work with anybody to get it done. So I understand both. Both are important. Yes, Dwayne. I am wearing a Sori Secret shirt. We had a maintenance issue in our apartment, and we had to like move all kinds of stuff around. There was a bunch of issues, blah 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 blah. Long story short, I was limited on the clothes that made it back to my closet, and the Sori Secret one was definitely available, so I am wearing it. Although, like, I think it's important to be on brand, but I always feel weird wearing my own shirt, like, just weird. How did you guys did you guys locate your star yet? I think that there's well, I mean, we looked into the paperwork and stuff, but I think that we're probably going to have better luck to see that when we go away from where we live. It's kind of hard to see the stars. Like, you don't get a good clear sky. So I think that will be a fun, like, date day experience, is if we take that and go out into a dark area. And I'm sure that there's got to be something on our phone that will locate it for us, because our son was explaining that to us. Sori, is there Judas Priest recommendations from the crews or people pay for the reactions? By the way, good evening to both of you. You have to join the alliances if you want to do it that way. And I know that there is one alliance group. I'm not sure which one it is at the moment. But they're bringing like kind of like more mainstream songs. Is that... I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So one of them...
definitely a mainstream band for sure.
Yeah, but one of the alliances works on that. So you could always like try... You know what? To be honest with you, you can jump on Patreon and you can hang out with the Discord people for that month and kind of see if that's something that you're interested in. And if it's not, then just back out before it takes the $1 at the end of the month. You know, that's all. If you wanna try that. Let's see. Can you please react to all my favorite songs for free? I'll send you the list. Sure, when we all get on that big boat, when we all get on the little rowboat together. When we all get on the rowboat together, we'll react to all their songs.
Song number 6 is
Radiohead. Okay, please.
Idiotic.
Idiotic?
Yeah, but he spelt it very gracefully. All right.
Idiotic. This track has been described by lead singer Tom York as the happiest song we've ever written. He's obviously being cheeky.
Oh boy.
Oh no! Here we go.
Here we go.
I've got the lyrics. You've got the thing. Let's go.
Idiotic or idiotic Radiohead. Let's do it.
This is on the loop. It's so funny.
We're good.
Everything all the time.
Oh, man. Okay, that was Radiohead. The name of that song was what now? Idiotech or idiotic.
Yeah. Interesting. It seemed like another kind of end of the world one, right?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe that's the theme with Kid A. He talked about the Ice Age is coming.
Yeah.
Is that positive too? Because I remember you said the dinosaur thing was a positive thing. That dinosaurs were going to come back the year.
No,
remember the last song? You're like, hey, you
said,
can look at that optimistically.
No, I said you could look at it optimistically to say, like, what is all this? Because he was trying to have perfection in his music. So I was saying you could look at it to say, like, is all this perfection and the wins and fails, how important are they really if all this is going to just explode and there's going to be dinosaurs again?
Who's in the bunker? Who's in bunker? Women and children first.
Yeah.
And the children first and the children.
I'll
laugh until my head comes off. I'll swallow till I burst. Until I burst.
You know, that reminded me of the Titanic. But then...
Well, yeah, Andrew said...
But a bunker is those
Andrew
things
said he
to
thought it was
from,
about the Holocaust. But you're right, a bunker is...
like where they protect people from bombs.
Yeah, like during the Cold War and shit. Like you go in the bunker and then you were supposed to go in the bunker and then all the nuclear shit was supposed to like go above you because you're in the bunker and you're safe. That's what, like... You won't remember this, but we were chasing Bin Laden in Tora Bora. And we had these bombs called bunker busters. Where like even because they had all these underground tunnel systems.
I do remember hearing about that.
So those things were there to collapse the tunnels. Pretty terrible way to die.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, your boy Bin Laden was shook. He was not doing well that
I feel like if I was like one of those people like Bin Laden and like if I wanted to just wreak havoc on the world, then I would be the type of person that would have one of those little pills that you could like crunch and, you know, those people used to have like a snake in a box.
Yeah.
So if they were getting invaded, they could just take the snake out. Like,
yeah.
I would, if I was going to be a bad guy that was going to be like that, I'd absolutely have my exit plan to be smooth. There's no way in the world I want tunnels collapsing on me.
Yeah, I know.
I'd be like, well, you know, I wreaked havoc on the world. Good day.
Yeah, I don't think they knew we had those capabilities.
I should not have to suffer as I have made others suffer.
I don't think he knew we had those capabilities at the time.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Way back in the day, they were doing the snake thing. I mean, they didn't have something like that in their culture?
No, I'm saying I don't think they thought we had the ability to collapse
they didn't know.
Yeah.
You should never have underestimated us Americans and our...
I mean, he got away.
Well, then we should have not underestimated.
So, I mean, he got away.
How fast he could scurry through those holes.
Hey, here I'm alive. Everything all the time. Here I'm alive.
You have alive? That's
yeah, what do you have?
I had allowed. Here I'm allowed everything all the time.
I think that actually makes a lot more sense, though. I think allowed makes more sense.
Yeah, me too.
Ice Age coming, Ice Age coming. Let me hear both sides. Let me hear both sides. Let me hear both. Ice Age coming, Ice Age coming. Throw it in the fire. Throw it in
how could you be allowed everything all the time if you were in this situation? What does that even mean? You know what I mean? Like, if you're the person going down in the bunker, you're not allowed everything all the time. Like, everything is, I'm sure, very restricted, and I'm sure that everybody's on an eating schedule, and like everything is rationed out to the day.
Yeah.
So what do you mean everything all the time? Unless you're talking about you're the person on the top now. You're one of the guys, so you didn't get to go down in the bunker, and now it's like you can have everything now, but the world is over.
Well, I think on the record he's also struggling with the concept of being a socialist or a communist, but at the same time having all this privilege. And I think he's having a really hard time with that. So when he says, here I'm allowed everything all the time, here I'm allowed everything all the time. Meanwhile, you got women and children in bunkers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so this was part of Kid A, so this was around 98, 99. What was happening? I mean, was it Sarajevo and all that stuff? That was a couple years earlier, but I mean, I'm just imagining him being watching the news, seeing all the bullshit that women and children have to go through, but then he says, here I'm allowed everything all the time, here I'm allowed everything all the time. So like they're in this bunker fretting for their lives, just being grateful for living another day.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's allowed everything all the time. And so he's watching this on TV. I'll laugh until my head comes off. I'll just swallow till I burst.
I'll tell you, ever since we saw what was happening with the Gaza Strip and there was that dad, and he was like putting the meal down for the kids, and it was condiments. There was a little thing of pickles and some ketchup, and just small, like the dishes were so small, and the kids, and I think to myself, to be honest with you, I have avoided buying pickles for our boys because it disturbed me so much.
Yeah.
And like, I just bought pickles for them today. And I agree with that hurts to see, because I understand, like, there's, I don't know, maybe things aren't as complicated as they seem, but like kids are being rationed. Like kids' meals are being rationed to the degree that they're having condiments. I just, like, like our kids, when they're hungry, how they act when they're ready for their meal.
Yep.
And like, I keep thinking, like, what do they say to them when there is really no food? And later, even when the food starts, it's just going to be like everybody's going to get a little piece of pickle. And
yeah,
that they're still going to walk away from that hungry. Yeah, and you have to eat something yourself too, because you don't want to die and leave them by themselves.
It's our ability to watch all this human suffering.
Well, and the thing was it I don't know, because the Palestinians, who was there?
The Palestinians.
The Palestinians, just like they're in lawn chairs, eating popcorn.
Oh no, it's the Israelis.
The Israelis.
Yeah.
Watching this happen to these people, watching these people getting bombed down there, like, to me, that level, I know that's kind of old news now, right? I'm not sure where that situation, to be honest with you.
It's not old news. They just killed 30 Palestinians a month and a half ago.
It's just,
like, they're steady killing those people.
It hurts,
and and we, on both sides of our political spectrum, there's this unconditional support for Israel no matter what they do. So, yeah, but
especially with Christians, man.
I think it's an indictment of, we can watch who's in a bunker. You get these people like suffering all over the world, and then we can like change the channel and something will be funny and we'll just laugh about it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that dichotomy is crazy. I'll laugh until my head comes off. I'll swallow till I burst. Like, yeah. It's like, and then it's also, I think, a little bit about like the media too. Like, we're not scaremongering. This is really happening. And again, 1999, the big thing was it the Y2K? Mm-hmm. But the media loves to scaremonger, because if you get people scared, it keeps them trapped to the TV, and then you generate more revenue. And that's why it says right there, like, we're not scaremongering. This is really happening. And then it says, take the money and run. Take our money and run. Take our money. Like, it's like, you get all these options on TV. You get human tragedy, you get comedy, then you get, terror and fear, because the media, we saw this during COVID. Like, that was a really, really big one, where it was a bunch of, the next time something like that happens, I think people are going to be a lot different. You know what I'm saying? Like, the next time there's some giant pandemic and there's like some sort of partnership between the government and the media, or explicit partnership, I think people are going to be like, oh, really?
Yeah, I know.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you. I think that's going to happen for sure. And like, then the conspiracy side of me is like, wait, was this entire thing, like, as bad as COVID was all of this just to set us up to be like, fuck the government the next time they try to say something, and maybe the next time they'd actually be right? But then you have characters like Fauci, and you're like, well, no.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy said a while ago that he hopes that there was something else that could pop off so he could see how good we were at fixing it.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right.
The guy's an absolute monster, that guy.
Yeah.
But
you don't need conspiracy. Just look at people.
But yeah, you could. I do think that there seems to be a couple undercurrents in that Kid A record. One is his own self-criticism of his participation in capitalism. Yep. The other is this constant refrain that there's an ice age coming, or that dinosaurs are roaming the earth. I don't think that every time he mentions that, he's specifically talking about global warming or climate change. I think what's happening is he's saying these are all things that humanity is doing that are going to create a situation where we all get extinct. Whether it's how we handle the power of media, or how we handle pollution and all the rest of it, like this insatiable desire that we have for things or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, when you combine all those forces, it's going to clear the planet of human beings, I think is the point. because this is a third song now from Kid A. The first two songs were it said the dinosaurs are roaming the earth, and then now we've got this song that talks about the ice age is coming. So it's like there's just backdrop of a warning, like, yo, if we keep going like this,
it's gonna eat us alive.
It's gonna eat us alive. Yeah. Yeah. Damn, what a crazy band. This is a 9.4 for me.
9.7 for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some depopulationists at the helm, for sure. I mean, these people have come out and said, you know, the planet's too popular. Of course, Elon said the planet is actually underpopulated.
Unbelievable.
But,
and how many people on that premise alone did not have children?
I know.
And they're going to age themselves, and when they get old and they want family around them, they're not going to have it because somebody put out this lie that we're overpopulated, instead of thinking that our children might be the solve for some of our problems. Like, we either killed them off or didn't let them be born for one reason or another. It's just sad, man.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Well,
it's so sad.
It's like you said, like you had religious friends who they thought the rapture was around the corner, so she's not paying off her student debt, defaulting on student loans, and now she's probably in a fucked up situation in America. And there were people in these like apocalypse cults, especially around the time of Ellen G. White, like they left everything. You remember that guy that said Jesus is coming back in 2012? I forgot that pastor's name. I forgot what his name was. Dude's in hell now.
There's been so many of them.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Are you talking about this is not
really,
funny?
really old dude.
Wait.
The really, really old dude who was predicting the end of the world.
Yeah, and everybody's bank accounts were linked, and he said, "Give me."
He took
everybody
all the
was
the family
right.
radio guy. That was
all
his
the money
name.
was supposed to go to him, and then they were going to take the money that you had and disperse it to people that were then going to care for your pets after you were gone. That crew. Took tons of people's money, and then he threw his hands up about it. He said that he's not a financial advisor.
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah. Harold Camping. The people were giving out their life savings, all types of shit to this dude.
Because they were thinking, what am I going to need? I'm not going to need it after this.
They thought he was the prophet.
They were liquidating their stuff.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And then after he took all their money, he just said, look, I'm not a financial advisor.
Yeah. Yeah.
People were dead, everything. He was gone.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, but
he
like that's the thing.
Benjamins.
Like apocalypse, these apocalyptic sort of little subgenres create these kind. You're right. Like on the secular side, it's like the world is too populated. Climate change is going to kill us in 10 years. That's basically like the rapture. They keep saying that. Like, oh, it's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen tomorrow. It's like, yeah, man, okay. You know what I'm saying? But so like, there's doomsday stuff on the secular side and doomsday stuff on the Christian side, which is why like I generally stay away from all the doomsday shit. Like, I'm seeing a positive future. Fucking go to school, pay your bills. You know what I'm saying? Like, go to the doctor, get that shit checked out. You know, this doomsday shit is like, it's the irony is it's one of the things that could fast track us to doomsday. You know, like the belief in doomsday. Like I got this friend and like he's obsessed with saying that the world is getting progressively worse, all types of shit. I'm like, dude, stop.
Yeah.
Like, the world is not getting progressively worse. Go talk to the people in the fucking 1800s who would get killed because a spider bit them and have to amputate a leg without anesthesia, biting a block of wood with a shot of whiskey, and tell those people that the world is getting progressively worse. Good night. God almighty. Bruno said dudes in hell now. Yeah, that was even Perkinoss would agree with me that Harold Camping is probably in Al-Nar. That's the fire. Okay, what'd you get the song?
I thought I already rated it a 9.8.
I'm gonna give it the Lunchtime Catch Up Podcast says go like and subscribe to their channel. I'm assuming they have a channel. I don't know who they are. This is the first time I've seen them, but like and subscribe. Anytime somebody names their YouTube thing after like their show, like I'm with it. It's an environmental protest song about our idiotic ability to act so gluttonous when we know it will impact our children's future and the health of loved ones. Yep. Yeah. All right, 9.5, damn it.
All right. One more song, you guys.
Un mas. I'm actually...
The name of the song is Let Down.
This went way too quick for me, actually. I'm a little bit let down. I'm not going to lie to you. We shall return, dear listener, with freaking DJ Gabe coming at it with the freaking Radiohead Let's do this shit. Okay. Yes, we've reacted to Hush Yael.
Yes, we did.
That was an old sleeper song, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Oh Sleeper.
Was it?
Which
Yeah.
I remember it saying Oh Sleeper.
Oh, sleeper. Okay.
But I don't know.
We've got one more song, dear listener. Commercial break. We'll be right back. I'm Ben.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord,
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
and they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Cheer stream based. Well, Soraya has quit the show. It's over with. You guys are stuck with me.
I'm out of here. No, I'm back. I've got a big giant Red Bull. All right, you guys. Radiohead.
Yeah, Children of Fire is my second favorite Oh Sleeper song. That song is hard as hell. Or heaven, whatever you want to call it.
All right. Okay, Radiohead Let Down for the big homie Gabe, DJ Gabe.
DJ Gabe.
Okay.
Gabe.
Note from Gabe. Thematically, I get strong, comfortable, numb vibes from this song. It's not a one-to-one comparison, but I interpret the song as being about being trapped.
Like the Pink Floyd joint. Comfortably young.
Comfortably numb,
yeah.
But I interpret the song as being about being trapped by your life situation, having no real choices, and having to give up on your dreams.
Where?
Lead singer Tom York said, "I was pissed in a club and I suddenly had the funniest thought I'd had for ages. What if all the people who were drinking were hanging from the bottles?
Oh my God.
If the bottles were hung from the ceiling of a string and the floor caved in and the only thing that kept everyone up was the bottles. It's also about an enormous fear of being trapped." Oh God. All right.
Good God, man.
I hate being trapped.
Do me a favor and message me that link.
I shall do that.
Good. Do it.
Copy link address. It's going to be coming from... What does he have you in here as? Because this is not mine. Oh, I'll just put your phone number, I guess?
No, Your Grace, this is your computer.
Oh, I gotta...
So just send it to
my phone number.
To your phone number. Didn't he have you in there as mom or whatever?
Who knows?
We have some technical difficulties, dear listeners. Surprise, surprise.
No.
Surprise, surprise.
I think this is a sign that he's not very happy with me.
That who's not happy with you?
The person whose computer I'm using. Because I don't even have a name. I'm just a number.
Oh, boy.
Here you go. No, everybody's just numbers, so... It must not be saving on this. Okay, there you go. I sent it to you.
This dude is he's got some problems. This guy, huh? What the
Well,
hell? He thought of the bottles like people were hanging from the bottles.
Yeah, but I think what he meant was that the bottles were hanging and people were clinging onto the bottles, or did he mean like hanging?
I mean,
I'm not sure.
I have no idea.
Let me
I
look
still
at that
can't
one
find
more
that
time.
link, Ya Rasul. Where is it? Where is it?
Is there an email that I can send it to? Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll put it in the stream. Then it'll pop up, right?
Yeah, sure.
Improvise. There you go.
Let's see if it comes
Okay.
up.
Yeah, I'm gonna read that real quick again, just to see if I was once pissed in a club and suddenly had the funniest thought I'd had for ages.
So
what if all the people who were
pissed
drinking?
means drunk, I guess, right? Like he was all.
Or it means angry, upset, pissed off.
Yeah, I don't know why he'd be. Does pissed mean like drunk in British? Is that what y'all say when you're drunk? It sounds like something. But go ahead.
Yeah, but what if all the people who were drinking were hanging from the bottles? If the bottles were hung from the ceiling with string and the floor caved in and the only thing that kept everyone up was the bottles. It's also about an enormous fear of being trapped. So I'm still not clear on if people were like, if the bottles are hanging and people are hanging from the bottles, or if it's like people are drinking and the only thing that's keeping them up is the fact that they had the bottles that they're drinking
No, I
from.
think he was saying like they were hanging from the bottles, like hanging, like noose hanging. And then when the floor collapsed, the only thing that they had to keep them up was the bottles, which is that's a pretty crazy picture. What else is a pretty crazy picture is me trying to download this freaking song.
Tell me if you need my assistance.
Yeah, well, your assistance got us here in the first fucking place, yeah.
Well, you know, you have supper in the oven.
This is a fucking comedy of errors.
You can be happy about that.
Can't get videos downloaded.
And it was okay, you guys. Seriously, this is what happened. I woke up this morning and I was like, shit, I'm gonna need to order stuff for supper. So I get on the Walmart app. I order our entire meal. I order all of our groceries, and then it gets to the point where you say if you want them to leave it at your door or whatever. And so I thought that I was complete, but I never hit the blue button at the bottom of the screen that says you're complete your order. So the order was never placed. So I wake up later and I realize it's now time to start my day. I have no groceries. They're not even close to being delivered. So I went through the process again. I did the same thing again. I didn't click the button. So then a couple hours goes by.
Really?
I'm like, where the frig are my groceries? And then I look in there. I said, what the fuck? I didn't click it again?
What's
you know what
wrong with
happens?
you?
I'm trying to work and everybody has a question.
I keep telling you to stop multitasking.
Yeah, but the thing is, what am I supposed to say?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I really should.
When will you learn?
So ridiculous. Everybody had questions. They're knocking on the door. I'm trying to take a shower. Everybody's yelling questions. Anyway, so it took, I'm not joking you, 2 or 3 times before I realized it wasn't in the cards for me. And so I had to do it the old-fashioned way. You know, you get in your vehicle and you drive to Walmart.
All right, Radiohead.
And what I drove there to get, when I got there, I showed the lady, I said, where do I get this brisket? She said, we're sold out. I said, it said that they had them in stock on the app.
All right, here we go, dear listener.
Thank you for being
agree.
so sympathetic.
I have no sympathy for you
I know.
whatsoever.
I know. You don't understand the frustrations of mom
I
life.
understand being frustrated. I also understand
The frustrations of mom life.
being told not to multitask and continuing to multitask and then...
Well, it wasn't business, so.
Hear me! All right, guys, here we go.
First time I wasn't multitasking, though.
Let down lyric
I just
video.
screwed up.
Let's do it.
Radiohead letdown. Let's go. Let's feel trapped, guys.
Yeah, I know.
Let's end on that.
Let's end on that note.
I'm a Radiohead person. I realize that. Thank you, Gabe.
You're a Radiohead.
I am, yeah.
Started on the stop, taking
Radiohead, Marco. Radiohead. Is that on the Kid A record? What? Was this on Kid A? Can you go back to Gabe's summary? No, okay, that's what's that? OK Computer. Okay, so that was on the OK Computer thing. That must have.
What a song.
I'm gonna assume that OK Computer predates Kid A. What are you thinking?
Well, I guess I just liked it because I had to travel a lot when I was in college, and it was always like the worst travel because we got the cheapest flight, which would go from Pennsylvania to Maine, which is not very far away from each other. But I would have to get on 3 planes to go from there to here. It was a lot of stops, and just like seeing people at the airport, and sometimes you'd have to take a bus from one spot to the other, or take a whatever, like some sort of transport, and just feeling the overall. I used to. I don't anymore because I have so many people in my vicinity that I'm responsible for. But before, when I wasn't responsible for anyone but myself and I would be traveling, I would just try to feel the vibe of the room, like the vibe of the people beside me, the room. And there was a lot of disappointment in people, like just real discouragement and just kind of going from one place to the next. Traveling for me was always exciting. I loved any time I got to ride on a plane. I thought that it was fun and exciting. The takeoff, the landing, everything, every bit about it, I just loved. The smell of the airport makes me think of vacation. It's exciting because the only time I'd ever been in an airport prior to that was when I was a kid and we were going on vacation. And vacation with my family was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Mm-hmm. I loved having my dad there start to finish, and he didn't have to work. So it was just like, I don't know, it was just cool. I really liked it. But that, like, when he talks about the disappointed, and then he says, let down and hanging around, crushed like a bug in the ground, let down and hanging around, shell smash, juices flowing, wings twitch, legs are going. Don't get sentimental. It always ends up drivel, which I guess means like nonsense. It just goes away into nonsense. So I remember a time when I was probably like 12, 13, 14, I don't know. And I had gone with a group of other people. We had all gone camping together, and it was sizing up to be a really, really, really fun and exciting time. And we're going to get to do a lot of swimming and bike riding and all the stuff that I thought was fun. And I was with a group of people, and so as not to drop names, the people that I was with, they started smashing like they were taking the snails out of the water and they started smashing them onto the rocks. And I literally felt like throwing up when they were doing it because I couldn't believe what destruction they were doing. And so when it says shell smash, juices flowing, like that's what was happening to these things. And I was so sickened by it. And I ran back to tell their parents, and the parents didn't care. And I didn't understand because we were all Christians. And so I didn't understand like this senseless destruction of these snails. Like, why? And I thought the kids should have gotten in trouble. And then like wings twitch, legs are going, like anytime that they would harm those bugs or whatever, like they always had like, but then it says don't get sentimental. So it seems like he's like seeing like this stuff, but then he's like, well, let's not get sentimental about it. Everything just kind of goes into nonsense. Then he goes into saying one day he's going to grow wings, a chemical reaction, hysterical and useless, hysterical. And so it doesn't even, I don't know. It doesn't even seem like that there's a lot of like hope in what he's talking about.
Yeah, because he just got done talking about basically torturing this bug.
Yeah.
He said, shell smash, juices flow, wings twitch, legs are going.
Yeah.
So some sort of...
But they're doing it to the shells, and they're also doing it to the bugs with wings. And
But then he says one day he's going to grow wings. So he's going to be hysterical and useless. Whereas if you grow wings and you can fly, like... that would be awesome, but I think what he's saying is like, yeah, that's a naive way of looking at it. They would just be hysterical and useless if I actually had them. Which, that's kind of the letdown. Like, you get these wings, but then you find out that they're useless, which, you know, is kind of the theme of the other songs as well, like not being satisfied with what he has.
You know what I think I've come to? I think that at the end of the day, you want to be right with your God, and you want to have... and you want to be able to enjoy your people.
Yeah.
And I think that's really it. Like, I don't know that it's that deep beyond that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
What do you mean?
Like, I think that if you can get those two things right, then the other stuff maybe doesn't matter. Maybe the other stuff's not as important. You know what I mean? Like, the stuff that we stress about or the stuff that makes us...
Well, you only get disappointed if you have an expectation. You can't get this, you know, anytime you're disappointed, it's because somebody performed beneath an expectation that you had of them. So, if you could construct a situation or a philosophy where you genuinely don't expect certain things from people or situations, then you'd never be disappointed.
I mean, is that practical, though?
I don't know.
And it also sounds extremely cynical. Like, I'm never going to expect anything from anybody so I can say happy. It doesn't even sound like a happy person.
Well, I mean, the alternative is that your happiness is somehow contingent on other people's performance.
Or you set something realistic. Like I said, like, you're good with your God and you're good with your people. You know what I mean? Like, if the goal is I just want to enjoy the people around me and enjoy what we're doing.
That's practical, because that's not going to shield you from disappointment. Like, if you say, I want to be happy with God and happy with... I mean, who doesn't say that? Who wakes up and says, I want to be upset at my God and upset at my people?
No. I think that people complicate things, and you want everything to go well, and this and that and everything else. And, well, maybe it's, you know... Like, for instance, well, I added all that stress to my day running around to get you a specific type of meal. Why? For what? Like, if I ask you, what do you want? You're going to say, I don't know, I don't care, whatever. So, if I would have just grabbed the first thing I saw, I wouldn't have wasted so much time. And you know what I mean? Like, I could have come home and hung out with the kids.
I don't think it's cynical to say to not have expectations of people. I don't think that's cynical.
It depends. No, I think it depends on how you say it. I think if you say, well, if you have no expectations, then you're never going to be disappointed. Like, I think that there's a negative way of saying that, and I think that there's a positive. I think it depends on what you're trying to get out of it. Like, there's a cynical way of saying, never expect anything out of anybody because they're going to let you down constantly. Like, there's a real negative way of saying that. And then there's also a thing that just says, you know what, nobody's perfect. People are going to fail. You want to be happy, or you want to nitpick everything to death. Like, I think that in that situation, that if you're like, stop expecting so much out of people, like, just enjoy people. I think that that's different than saying
if you don't have expectations, you'll never be disappointed.
Than saying, like...
That sounds less cynical than what I just said.
I'm saying that there's two ways of saying that. And I don't think that it's in the wording. I think it's in the motivation in the heart. Because I think that somebody can get to a point where they're so beyond trusting in anybody that they've gotten so cynical that they say, this is because of my expectations. Well, I'm never going to expect anything out of any of these people again. And I think that there's a negative way of saying that expectation thing. And then there's a positive way to say, you know what, that does... You know, a lot of these things, how much do they actually really matter? Like, I just want to enjoy people and I want to enjoy life, and
yeah,
so I think it depends on where you're coming from.
To me, you're just pushing the problem back to more denials. You're just like, oh, that's a small thing. I don't care about that. We'll just keep it moving. Well, what if it's a big thing? What if the person majorly disappointed you? You're supposed to say, oh no, that wasn't. You got to look back and say, okay, where did it? I'm a big believer in accountability. It's like, if you're walking around disappointed all the time, then I feel like that's you. Well, it's like, obviously that person is like told you in no uncertain terms they're not moving from this position. So at some point you have to say, well, okay, then I have to adjust my expectations, because if you, I don't see how it's cynical. I don't even see how it's coming off as harsh. I don't see how it's harsh to say, if you don't have expectations, you won't have disappointments. It sounds kind of Buddhist-y to me. You know, like the root of your suffering is desire. Or attachment, or whatever. I think it's attachment or desire. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that I agree with that. I'm not sure.
I think that there's a healthy and an unhealthy way of
there's a healthy and unhealthy way to say a lot of things, but like, I feel like your way has a lot more danger of being unhealthy, because it's got this like sort of Pollyannish washover of every disappointment, where it's like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's like, I don't know, man. Some of those disappointments are big deals. So what are you supposed to do with that in your perspective? Act like it's not a big deal?
Well, it depends. What's the situation?
I don't know. Just the general situations human beings get themselves in when they're interfacing with other human beings. If somebody says, you know, if somebody consistently breaks promises to you, for example, like, I would say that it would probably be best to not have the expectation that they're gonna follow through on the promise, right? Like, I would, like, I don't think that's harsh. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, I think that a lot of tension between kids and parents has to do with that the parent expects certain things from the kid can't live up to it, so now he's all disappointed. It creates all this crazy cycle of, you know, whatever. So I'm not sure. It's interesting. I don't see it as cynical at all.
I think it depends on, you know, like I said, what is behind it? Are you like throwing up your hands in the air and you're like,
is recognizing,
these people keep disappointing me, I'm just going to lose all expectation?
I mean, it's recognizing the frailty of human beings and your own frailty, and saying, well, shit, I can't even live up to my own standards. What are the odds?
Yeah, I think that's a healthier way of looking at it, to say, I can't live up to expectations, they can't live up to expectations.
Yeah,
and so
I think that you're like reading a lot of shit into it that I didn't say, because it's the same thing.
No, I said it doesn't matter the words. It doesn't matter the words. I'm saying it depends on what's going on inside of your heart. If you're like,
well,
fuck
you called
all
it negative.
Yeah, I do think if there's a negative, I think there's a negative way of saying it and there's a positive way of saying it.
But I don't think I said it negatively though when I said.
I'm not speaking about you. I'm talking about, generally speaking, that there's a positive way of saying that statement and there's a negative way of saying that statement. There's
and the difference between the positive and the negative way is what?
Well, I think that it depends on where it starts from. Like, I don't think that anybody can judge that on somebody else. I think it's an internal thing. But I do think you could maybe say, if somebody's like, you know what, like, my expectations are way too high for people. People are going to make mistakes. I can't even live up to my own expectations. Let me just like lower the bar here and like just enjoy stuff. I think that's one way of looking at it. But I think if you're saying, you know what? Fuck these people. They never live up to expect. They never can come through for me. They're always, I'm just going to lower my expectations so I don't have to be so disappointed with these people. You see how it's kind of amounting the same thing? Both of them, you're lowering your expectation, but one of them is coming from like this negative place, while the other one is saying, you know what? I fuck up. Everybody fucks up. So
I don't consider it a negative place, so to say that. Like this was a discussion about optimism versus realism versus pessimism. Like, I think it's realistic. If you get enough data on a person and they're continuously doing XYZ thing, I think it's just realistic to say that person's not going to do that. The person looks you in the face and says, we're going to do XYZ, and it doesn't happen. Like, you got to say to yourself, like, yo, because if you don't adjust those expectations, that's going to create some real acrimony, some real negativity. So that's where I'm like,
right. But in that example, you're saying that the person makes that decision before they get to that really crazy point where they're like, fuck this, fuck that person, fuck all. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like,
yeah.
Well, we don't have to agree. I mean,
wasn't suggesting that you say fuck that person. I just think that.
But you do think that are you saying that you can see that there is a way that somebody could get to that point where they adjust their expectations with that fuck you mentality, and it's not actually going to help, like, if somebody has the where they're looking at themselves to say, well, look, I'm not a perfect person, they're not a perfect, I need to just lower this. Like, what am I doing holding somebody this ridiculous standard?
I don't know. I mean, some of it probably had to do with our upbringing, because I saw that attitude. I saw we'll sweep that under the rug, we'll do it again, we'll do it again, we'll do it again. And
I didn't say anything about sweeping anything under the rug, though.
Yeah, if my mom would have adjusted her expectations, she'd probably still be alive. So
yeah,
she did that, what you're saying, the entire time in the marriage. If she would have just said, this dude is not going to change, like, then she would have been straight. You know what I'm saying? So to me,
I mean, she can still say that. You can still say that.
Yeah, but honey, after the 50th disappointment and the 9th time we've had to move, it's not like you can just say, oh, I mean, there's gonna be some emotional fuck you to that. I don't think it's unhealthy to recognize that you've reached your limit with a particular person's bullshit. I don't think how is that negative? Like, after all the shit that she went through with dude, like, what is she supposed to be, like, not be cautious of that guy?
No,
like,
why does she? Obviously, she should be cautious.
So
of that.
why is it being characterized as negative if she's like, man, fuck this dude? She's giving him 50 opportunities. Like, she that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're constantly disappointed by a person, you're gonna be angry at them too, right? And
that's true.
So it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it depends. Like, for me, this is always sort of like a running debate. Like, is this healthy? Is it not? To me, if a person disappoints me to the point where I'm like, yo, I don't talk to that person. Like, it's just over. I just won't talk to him for the rest of my life. Like, so, and that's probably from me seeing, that was going on with my mom. Like, I felt like my mom held on to that shit for way too long. And she kept hoping and hoping and hoping, and I think, that destroyed her. So, I obviously swung the other way, and it's like, oh, okay, you're one of those people, like, see you later. Like, so I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Like, for me, I want to be as authentic as possible. Like, if she ran into 50 disappointments and she was like, you know what? My continuing to hope in this person is causing me a lot of mental duress. So, and I think it's in balance to acknowledge, and I'm angry at the 50th thing in the row.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to adjust my expectations. I wouldn't go and say, well, you've made mistakes too. Like, I wouldn't have said that to my mom, because the shit that dude was doing was like fucking pew. And so to try to, like, come with some, like, false, like, equivalence, like, I mess up too, and blah, like, no, there's people in your life that like consistently disappoint you.
Yep.
And I think it's inbound to say, man, fuck those people, bro. Like, not in the sense of,
yeah, but
I'm better than them, but in the sense of acknowledging I'm really upset that this continues to happen.
Yeah, but I think that you can still do that, and when you would make your adjustments, then you say, okay, that person. So let's say it's a situation like that. There's an unhealthy person in your life. They won't stop doing their unhealthy behavior patterns. It is having a deleterious effect on you, And so you say to yourself, okay, they're not going to change. And this is not good for me. I need to get out of this situation. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying, and I think that that's the healthy way of dealing with it. I don't think that somebody should stay in the situation and try to be Pollyanna-ish, and then everything falls in on around them, and now they're angry and they're bitter and they've got tons of baggage because they stayed in that situation. That's why I'm saying I think from the beginning it's important to have like a healthy mindset, set your expectations for what you want them to be, and recognizing that people are flawed, you're flawed, and then adjusting. What I'm saying is I don't think that you should, whatever you're doing, never stay with what you're doing until you get so bitter and angry. Like that's what I'm saying to avoid. So the fuck you, I'm adjusting my expectations, I think is like, you stayed too long.
That's what I'm saying. Like you should have adjusted your expectations way earlier.
Right, and if the expectations were adjusted earlier, then it wouldn't have to be a fuck you situation.
That's what I said from the beginning.
So all I was saying was there's a healthy way of saying it and there's an unhealthy way of saying it.
That's what I disagree with you on. I don't...
Not the words themselves, but from where they are inside. If you stayed until you got bitter and then you're saying, fuck you, I'm adjusting my expectations, then it can be like a... How long has it been like that?
I don't know.
I would give this one I really like the smoothness of it. Did make me think a lot too. I'll give this one a
9.7 for me.
9.8.
9.7 for me. Holy shizzle! So Radiohead just created a convert, so you're a giant Radiohead fan now. Good
I
Lord.
do like Radiohead.
Thank God we have a Sender Prime to fix Christianity for us.
I would like to take a long drive.
Or to fix neo-Christianity for us. Thank God. Maybe one day you'll tell us what justification is. All right, go ahead. It's unbelievable.
9.8 for me. And like I said, I would like to take some of these and just drive.
Yeah,
through some really pretty areas. And
The next reaction video is going to be with no volume whatsoever.
It's a Vintage Sori special.
And you guys will catch up on your lip reading skillamagills.
What do they do?
Is that what they do? DJ freaking Gabe in the house. Have we ever done anything for DJ Gabe? This is the first one?
No, he did the other one. Remember he said it at the beginning, Tenacious D, so you remember him?
Tenacious D, that's right.
And yet he still forgot! I
remember that pier, because Gabe had that little pier thing on him. What's up, Leonardo?
All right, you guys. This is a great...
We'll learn to lip read. Hard problem of consciousness.
I'm glad you did this, Gabe, because now I know I do like Radiohead.
Yes, everything is in its right place. Huh? Mm-hmm. Get it? Yeah. Everything is in its right place. That's the name of one of your songs. All right. Much love to all you beautiful people. I am out of here. Vin out.
Sorry.